Evening, and a lowly servant sat beneath the Rashomon, waiting for the rain to end. Under the broad gate there was no one else, just a singular cricket clinging to the huge red pillar, which the lacquer was peeling here and there. Situated on a thoroughfare as important as Suzaku Avenue, the Rashomon could have been sheltering at least a few others from the rain. Perhaps a woman in a lacquered reed hat, or a courier with a soft black cap, yet there was no one besides the man. Sorry, y'all came in on reading time, and, what do you mean I can read things that aren't light novels and manga? Anyway, you're here for a thing, an audiobook, like, I don't know, you want to rent a podcast. Podcast section's over there. Just remember a couple of the rules about the podcast. What were they again? Right. That languages and strong situations will be discussed, and that is not available for all audiences, so that listeners' discretion is advised. There's also spoilers for Bungo and Alchemist, Gears of Judgment, and any other anime series. So if you would like to check out Bungo and Alchemist, Gears of Judgment before renting the podcast, you can do so. Just be advised that spoilers are there. And finally, that the views and opinions expressed are those of the podcast authors as a individual and not as a whole, and do not reflect the Dub Talk Library as an institution. I was totally not reading classic Japanese literature. No, oh shit, where did I put it? Fudge. Hold on one second. Oh, where did it go? Aha! I found it. Now let's get back to where I was. Let's see. There we go. And so their argument swerved in a different direction. Wei Wuxian giggled and laughed as he rode past on his donkey. He wouldn't have thought that after so many years he stood strong and unfailing as a topic in the cultivator's verbal battles. He had a way of starting conflict, if you might say. If there was ever a vote who had the most enduring popularity amongst all the clans, then he was a sure winner. There we go. Back to things. Why is stuff behind me glaring like I'm doing something when I shouldn't be? Hello, one and all, and welcome to the Dub Talk Public Library, a place of quiet retrospective about our favorite dubs and the actors who provide them. I am your head librarian, Megan, and with me today I have my assistant librarian, Steph.
Where is that soup? I'm hungry, bitch!
Stephanie.
I want soup! Where's my chicken nuggies?
Stephanie, we're at the library. We can't yell tonight.
But I want all of the tuna! All of the tuna! Can we start a farm? Bro, can we start a farm? And let's grow some rice so we can have it stolen or not stolen for either curry or sake.
Steph, why are you looking for chicken nuggies at the library?
I mean, they serve chicken nuggies at the library, right? I mean, they serve a bunch of other things like fucking curry and some tuna. And what else do they serve?
Steph, I need you to go to Cat Bucks, located at the other end of our library, and get maybe get a snack.
I just want my nuggies.
I will buy you nuggies. Just calm down.
Okay, thanks. I want nuggies. Give me the dinosaur-shaped nuggies, bitch. I
am trying to do this intro bit. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Dub Talk, Megan's broken character. Because this motherfucker wants some goddamn chicken nuggies. And he's like, I'm gonna go get chicken nuggets at the fucking library. I'm a smart human being. Chicken nuggies.
Listen. The show we're talking about today. Get food at the library. Alright, fuck off.
Well, that's because they're locked living into a library. I love the Page Master.
I love the Page Master too. I need to watch that. It's been years.
At least you've seen that.
Oh my god, it's been so long since I've watched The Page Master.
I can't believe she has actually seen a children's film from the 90s, everybody.
Oh, you fuck off! You fuck off, you bitch!
Anyway, let's clap for books, because tonight we are talking about the 2020 anime Bungo and Alchemist from Studio OLM, based off the browser game from the same from the company DMM Games. Now, if DMM Games sounds familiar to you, because it sounds familiar to me, and you've watched the show, you're thinking, this seems like a very same and familiar concept to me. It's like that time where I took a bunch of insert picture of Joseph Joestar here.
No, the picture of Kermit that you had from stream the other day. I went through and
every time Rhea
says
something shady, every time Rhea says something shady now, I'm just putting Kermit on screen.
I legit saw that when I was highlighting the VOD and shit on Twitch, and I saw that was a clipped moment. I'm like, what is this for? And then I saw it, and I'm like, okay.
I also hope Josh clipped the thing where we talk about Rhea selling NFTs, but fuck NFTs. Anyway, but if you're wondering, haven't we done this concept with boats and swords? Exactly, these are the same people.
Yay!
Welcome back, DMM Games. Please take my money and let this come over to America.
We got Token Rambu, so anything's possible.
Token Rambu is in America now, and I play it. So anyway, I'm not reading the plot summary from ANN or the back of the Funimation DVDs because they're both terrible. So here's the general thing. In the game, you are tasked as a special duty librarian known as the Alchemist. You delve into quote-unquote tainted books and purify them with your parties composed of writers to fight our enemy, which is the reason why everyone knows what the show is, the taints, who have corroded books. To obtain writers, you are also tasked to delve into ensouled books in order to transmitigate and recruit them into your library. Also, all of the authors are pretty boys, and if you're wondering, yeah. All of the writers who had written novels and short stories have swords. All the writers who do naturalist literature are bows. All the writers who did popular literature are whips. And because this is a combination of writers who deserve the anime's favorite #1 ultimate weapon, gun.
Oh, the poets?
The poets and the children's literature writers.
Oh! That's amazing. So welcome back to Token Rambu Stray Dogs,
but with books.
Welcome back to Token Rambu Stray Dogs.
Yeah, this is you got your Token Rambu and my Bungo Stray Dogs, but somehow even sillier than both of those.
It's great, actually.
I love this show. Anytime I call this show stupid or weird, I'm doing it with love.
We do it with all the love and adoration in the world.
I'm now here's the thing. I've looked into some of the other authors they haven't used, and they do let Western authors into this.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
I really want, I'm sorry, Dr. Seuss needs to be in this with a fucking Glock now.
Are you serious?
He's not in it yet, but he'd get a Glock!
Oh my god, that'd be fucking hilarious.
One fish, that. Two fish.
Red fish, bang!
Red fish, Glock fish.
Glockfish, I love it. God damn it.
No, Sasuke, I might be out of chakra, but I ain't out of options. So tonight we are here to discuss the 13 episodes of the anime and their dub, produced by our friends at Funimation, or paid for by our friends at Funimation. They hold the DVD rights to this, but produced by our good friends and recorded at the new NYAV Post.
Woohoo!
Which surprised every single fucking one of us.
Yes, actually it did. When we got the news, hey, Bungo and Alchemist is gonna drop, tomorrow, and this is the cast.
Everybody immediately just started pinging Megan.
Oh yeah, pinging Megan. She's been waiting for this one for
I literally kept bitching about it for a year.
No, yeah, because this show aired spring 2020.
It started in spring 2020 and stopped because of the human malware.
Right.
And then it started back up in summer of 2020.
Right, and then the dub didn't happen until, this past fall, I think, right? Because the home video release was October, November?
But the dub dropped earlier in the year.
Right. No, by
at least
I
own the Blu-ray. Yeah, the Blu-ray came out, the same week as Akonuma Drive.
Yeah, so only a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I literally got my copy in the mail the day after Anime NYC ended, which was a really big fuck you to me.
All things considered? Yes.
I'm a little upset about it. I'm a little salty.
Because also Akudama Drive.
Yeah, I'm a little salty about that.
Oh, the timing on that's awful. Anyways.
Here's the worst thing. I hadn't known that it shipped. Sorry, I'm also eating dinner really quickly. The worst thing was I hadn't checked my shipping information until that Monday and realized it was at my house because we had been traveling so much.
I'm just also grabbing a box of tissues because my sinuses are a bitch. And also, my arm hurts today.
She got the booster.
I got the booster. And my flu shot. So I got 2 shots in the same fucking arm. It's great.
You know what it takes to make... You know what else needs 2 shots in the arms to make it great? A dub. You know what those 2 shots are called? The director and the writer.
Hello, also, hi. We haven't had a Steph and Megan filler episode in a hot minute. Hello.
Yeah, she's gonna finish all of my sentences, and then I'm gonna make her watch Centaur World.
Oh, great. Listen, we need to hold up on the other end of the bargain since I kicked her ass at Pokemon.
We're doing it after the W's, I said.
I know.
Yeah, your boyfriend still has one to pay up on, too. Anyway, so let's talk about our director and our writers. Our director of the series is Laura Stahl. Our 3 writers are Emily Neves, who handled episodes 2, 11, 12, and 13. Jeremy Kratz, who handled episodes 8, 9, and 10. And Josh Gurley, who handled all the other episodes. Yes. Laura Stahl, you'll know, is the director. She did the main direction for Dropout Idol Fruit Tart, and assistant directing on... She did some directing on Beyblade Burst Spark and assistant directing on number 24. Emily Neves, you'll know, is the writer of series such as Asteroid in Love. She did Copcraft script, and she did the ADR script for Sky Wizards Academy.
Oh, God. That's a
Jeremy
deep
Kratz.
cut.
Jeremy Kratz has done the ADR script for series such as Divine Gate.
Oh, another deep cut, okay.
Horimiya, and Izetta the Last Witch.
Oh my god, where are all these deep cuts coming from?
Josh Gurley has done the ADR script for series such as AKB48 The Next Stage. They have done the ADR script for series such as Charlotte.
Oh god.
And the ADR script for the series Overlord Season 2.
Yes.
If that sounded disjointed, it's because I had to read it off A and I didn't scroll at the same time. Stephanie, please start.
Oh, man. Like, we could probably just round robin this kind of, because it's just you and me, really.
Yeah, it's just you and me.
Me.
I'm just trying to catch my bearings. Like I said, I just woke up.
I just woke up too, bitch!
It's, okay, like, just full disclosure, I have a hard time. It takes me like an hour to wake up after I've waken up.
We both napped before we started recording.
Not because the show was bad or anything, but because we were both just fucking tired.
Yeah. And also add on to the fact I got fucking booster shot today, so Lord almighty. Anyway. So that might have something to do with it. I also sometimes don't sleep well at night. It sucks. Mostly because I have 2 bed hugs that I share a bed with.
Don't talk about Ash like that.
I said 2 bed hugs. Ash is one of them, actually. Mostly because he'll sleep at the foot of the bed, but more on my side, because he knows I don't move in my sleep, unlike Andrew does. So there's less chance of him getting kicked off the bed. Anyway. Directing and writing. Oh my god. The show is just so whacked out. It makes so much sense that this is from the same creators as Touken Ranbu.
Different directing staff, though.
Different staffing-wise, but, like, from the minds of the same people who did Touken Ranbu.
The same creators of the game.
Like, because I watched this show twice. So I actually watched it the other day as part of my, like, massive marathon.
She has actually finished the show more times than I have.
By 1. But then we were supposed to record something else tonight, and then that had to get pushed off. So Megan messaged me yesterday. And
you hire a mammal. Do you want to do it? You hire a mammal.
Do you want to record? Just say fucking record Bungo and Alchemist as a filler. I'm like, okay.
You have to insert the image of the penguin doing the "you hire mammal" image here.
Oh, you'll have to send it to me. Anyway, but that's how we got here. So, Lord, just watching this in general is a delight. Because of all the stupidity. And because... So, Bungo and Alchemist has more fights happening than Togenranbu ever fucking did. Togenranbu just
Okay, correction. Togenranbu Hanamaru. Remember, there are actually 2 Togenranbu.
Okay, alright. Hanamaru, yes. The Kakagetsu Togenranbu.
Katsuge, not...
Hanamaru has less fighting.
Thank you.
Hanamaru has less fights. But but Hanamaru has more of like the everyday like kind of hijinks and shenanigans and bullshit that happens. But it's so funny for Bungo and Alchemist to do that on occasion too. Like the whole goddamn episode where fucking Dazai and Shiga have a farming contest out of nowhere. Because
somebody keeps shitting on someone's favorite author.
Right.
Which, you know, if you actually have ever done research into it, the show makes light of a lot of very serious things that happen to these people.
Oh yeah, it's nuts.
Like I don't know if it's like national law to just shit on the fact that Osamu Dazai tried to kill himself a bunch of times.
The show just makes
just a heads up that the show does make very much light of Osamu Dazai's
lover suicide.
And eventual actual suicide.
Right. It does make light of it because the authors, like, poke fun at him quite a bit for that shit.
They all kind of shit on each other, but just as a sensitivity thing,
right.
Like, this series I would say, arguably is actually meaner to this Dazai than Bungo Stray Dogs is to their Dazai.
Yeah, but Dazai in this realm is also even more of an idiot.
Like, he's a very good boy, but he's very, very dumb.
He's a good boy, but he's not the smartest one in the room. He's the one who thinks he's the smartest one in the room.
The lights are not all on upstairs.
Anyway, directing and writing foot. I'm gonna have to commend the dub first of all for the casting of this, because this casting is just really out there. Because, like, half of these names either are names that are just coming up to probably a lot of dub watchers now, or names that you have never fucking heard of in your life. Especially fucking Akutagawa here. Like, it's like, excuse me? But I have to commend them for taking that risk, and admittedly, some of the performances in the beginning are a bit rough. But each of the performances, they do grow into their own down the line, which is really nice. But that's typical for, like, new shows and growing pains, I feel. The writing is actually... The writing, I would imagine the trio of Emily, Jeremy, and Josh, what they would have to... They probably had to make sure they got not just translating the... localizing the script from the Japanese, but also, I would imagine they made sure to look into each of the different authors themselves and their stories, for both the accuracy and the authenticity as well. Because there's a lot of information about these authors thrown at you in the course of 13 episodes. Primarily Akutagawa, Dazai. There's a couple episodes for Ango. There's Hagiwara as well.
Yeah, he gets kind of one. Also, the translation was actually done by a gentleman named Adam Lessenmare.
Yes.
Adam Lessenmare handed the translation of this. He's done series such as he did a lot of the translation subtitles, and from MX Media for Golden Kamuy.
Okay.
He has done translation for Kitty Girl and I'm just trying to find some more stuff that he did that might be relevant to this. Natsume's Book of Friends, the first 2 seasons.
Oh yeah, okay. I've never seen Natsume. I've always wanted to, but that one's heavy in, like, Japanese folklore. And stuff,
he's the poor bastard who had to translate School Days.
Oh no! Oh no! I hope
Merry Christmas.
I hope they gave you a fat fucking bonus for that one, my dude.
Knowing the way that this industry plays translators, not really. Especially back then.
Oh, just... unfortunately, that is unfortunately true.
Yeah.
Anyway, no, like... So, I really do commend the script on being able to keep the authenticity and the historical accuracy of pretty much most if not all of these authors, because there is a lot of information thrown in at you in a span of 13 episodes. Like, and there's quite a bit of world building too. There's a lot happening in this show. So the fact that both on the directing and the writing front they managed to make it still into a cohesive thing, I have to commend them on that one for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely. For me, I think the big reason that this really endeared itself to me as a dub was that for the average viewer, this is not a show that they're going to think is very good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is a very much like, the way I always explain this is that I always usually say this is a show made for me whenever these types of shows come out.
It's an accurate statement.
And the thing is, though, is that this is a show that a lot of critics and stuff, they just kind of pan off immediately as, it's just another mobbage show. But it's like, these are made, I think, more or less for the people who already play the games, and for people like me who want to play the games and can't because they're not in English.
Right.
But they endear themselves to me because they are usually pretty funny. They're usually pretty fun, and they may not have a lot of character development, but a lot of the strength of the show comes from personalities clashing and how much the dub wants to let the fun come through.
Yes.
And that's the thing I really want to commend everybody on this series, is that it sounds like they are having fun with this. Mm-hmm. Like, this show, the scripting of this show definitely walks the balance of being funny when it can be, but when the serious parts have to turn on, because ironically, the last 5 or 6 episodes of the show are frankly very serious.
Oh yeah, it's very much played straight.
It is very played straight. It is very deep and philosophical discussions on the merits of art and art killing the artist, and the coping mechanisms of a character to do what they did to keep themselves feeling sane.
Yep.
Because
it's been a point it's made quite a few times throughout the show, is that when you're an author, suffering is part of the job. That is outright stated quite a few times in the show.
Yeah,
and becomes an actual theme at the last arc of the show.
Yeah, and the other thing is, though, is how much is that a lot of the other theme of that is how much is the suffering worth it? Is it worth it to have the author have endured the suffering they went to, or to erase their books and let them have a different fate? Because a lot of the series also has a weight of is physically written literature doesn't have a place in this modern world.
Yeah.
And the thing is that the show isn't going to be I don't know, this isn't a show that is meant to be I would say on the level of something like Ranking of Kings or
Oh, absolutely not.
Or I'm trying to think of another show that's that's been very genuine, or Megalobox. Where you're talking about certain deeper subjects. The show is both bait for people who play the games, because hey, look, your favorite character is gonna talk and do more than just 2D fighting.
Right.
And then there's the aspect of, oh, they can put a serious story to this. And the other thing that really, really worked in favor of the show is Laura Stahl's directing and casting. I think that she did a fantastic job on this. I think that she worked well in tune with the casting director of the show, Rachel Slotky.
Considering, as far as I know, this was at the time, I think her first actual solo
directing show. It works, and I've never really had issues with Emily, Jeremy, or Josh's work as scriptwriters.
No, never.
So this works, and there are a lot of really funny one-liners in this show.
Oh, there's it makes itself very self-aware of what the writing, again, credit to it, because it's very self-aware of what it is. For instance, there's a line in fucking episode 5, where you have the crew, it includes Akutagawa and Dazai. They're trying to figure out what the fuck's happening with Hagiwara's stories, or his poems. And it's the one where basically everyone keeps fucking getting shot.
Yes, that's probably one of my favorite episodes.
It's a great one because it's just really ridiculous and it's so dumb. But one of the funniest things that Dazai says, because he's the second one shot on the ground after fucking Chuya, and Akutagawa's just like, well, it's fine, we'll figure it out. And then his response is just, et tu, Akutagawa. I was just like, I see what you did there, guys. Because it's a fun
Stop ignoring us, you dick, is a good one.
Yeah, it's a fun little jab at like Shakespeare's Julius Caesar, et tu brute. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I know you were saying like it makes you want to play the game. It makes me want to read the fucking books, like their actual works.
Yeah, that's the other thing is like I actually want to read a lot of these novels and poems now.
And like it gives you while Bungo Stray Dogs is a very fun. Makes very fun use of the authors as fun, interesting characters. You don't get too much of their background in Bungo Stray Dogs. In Bungo and Alchemist, you get more of the story.
Yeah, and you're more encouraged to check out the books. Bungo Stray Dogs is hey cool flip.
Right.
Which I love Bungo Stray Dogs to death. That's one of my favorite manga series and anime series of all time.
No, absolutely. I love Bungo Stray Dogs.
Yeah,
but at the same time,
let me be clear, as much as I love this show, it is not as good as Bungo Stray Dogs.
No. Like, this makes me want to read, like, books from fucking Akutagawa, because I did not know how much of a pain
I do have a book from Akutagawa. I do own Rashomon.
Nice.
So.
I want to read like Dazai stuff. I want to read Hagiwara's poems. I want to read fucking Ongo's Cherry Blossom one. That one's a short story I really want to read. Actually,
I really want to read that one.
That's a really good one.
Also, I have to talk about one of my other favorite little one-liners, which is, you get to go back home to hell, you little devil. Can you please take my murder seriously?
No, fucking Ongo sitting on the ground was like, they picked a great person to go to hell, and she was like, is that really what you're thinking of right now?
I love Ongo. Ongo in the show is a fucking
Ongo's the fucking best. I love him.
It's so funny because, like, characters like Ongo... for both of us at least, characters like Ongo, like Odasaku, like Daza, like Akutagawa, like Chuya, are all characters that are all not characters, but are all figures we've seen used in Bungo Stray Dogs.
Correct.
And their characters are almost all completely opposite, especially Akutagawa.
Right.
Especially the Akutagawa Dazai relationship, which I'll talk about that when we get there. The only thing that is consistent, that is, I do believe is the legal law that Chuya Nakahara must be a petty little bitch in every show he's in.
And that apparently Ongo and Odasaku are married in this version.
But yeah, no, like, here's the thing. I'll talk about the
reprobates are
the reprobates when we get to them. So let's
them.
move on to our first set of characters who are essentially...
the Akutagawa squad, I guess.
The Akutagawa, the group of authors who were... from Akutagawa's time frame and his friends.
Yes.
Including Kikuchi Kan, who is Akutagawa's best friend.
His book, one of his stories was used, I think, in the show when they took Akutagawa, the quote-unquote fake Akutagawa, to try and get rid of him, right? I think it was his story. Kikuchi's story. In something Vengeance. I can't remember the name of the episode title.
Okay, the real Kan Kikuchi was actually a man named Hiroshi Kikuchi. Kan Kikuchi was his pen name.
Mm-hmm.
He established a Japanese publishing company called Bunji Shunto Limited. He is famous for the plays Madame Pearl and The Father Returns.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you motherfucker.
What?
Are you fucking kidding me? Is this the reason why we have Katakawa?
Wait, what?
You motherfucker! You're the guy who made Katakawa!
No way!
He was also the head of the Daiei Motion Picture Company, currently Katakawa Pictures.
Oh, shit! Ah! Holy shit! We're learning things today, folks!
This is what Megan needs to do. Megan needs to do her shit afterwards.
This is why Megan needs to prepare her.
He is also the person who created the Akutagawa Prize.
Okay, that obviously makes.
And eventually, something was called the Kikuchi Kan Prize was also created.
Okay.
But yeah, you motherfucker.
You bitch.
That's who you are. You're the guy who caused Kanakawa to come into existence.
We both love you and hate you for it.
Yeah, let's just go with that.
That's
hold on a sec. I just love the realization. I love it. Just you're the motherfucker who made this. Alright, so then let's do and then I said Hori Tatsuo.
Yep.
He was a student under Saisei Muro in Akutagawa. He wrote a series of selected works called the Sei Kazoku. The Wind Has Risen is a novel that he wrote. Thankfully, there have been some of his stuff put into English translation. Then there is Masayo Kume. He was a talented haiku poet. He also was a playwright who wrote a playwright called Gunyana no Kyodai, or the Milkman Siblings.
Oh, okay.
He published a novel called Chichi no Shi, or My Father's Death, in Akubama Shinju, Love Suicides at Akubama. Also, by the way, a lot of these guys died very early from health issues, so... But yeah, no, those are the three that we were talking about. I just can't believe that Kan Kikuchi is the reason why we have Kanakawa.
What the fuck? That's your fact of the day.
Alright, playing the founder of Kanakawa Pictures, I'm kidding, no. Playing Kikuchi is Ian Sinclair, playing Hori is Alex Lee, playing Masao is Mark Thompson. Ian Sinclair, you'll know his characters such as Brooke in One Piece, Dandy in Space Dandy, and Shoji in My Hero Academia. Alex Lee, you'll know his characters such as Zenitsu in Demon Slayer, Kaiman in Dorohedoro, and Anos in The Misfit of the Demon King of Academy. Mark Thompson, you'll know his characters such as Dorowa in Freedom, Mr. Honda in 7 of 7, and Lon in Star Wars Visions. Steph, start us off. Mostly so I can look up the other authors.
Just fill it in. Alright.
Damn it!
I'll do my best. Yeah, because there's not a ton to talk about with these three in particular, only because they show up essentially at the last possible second to help push the story
they literally
along.
show up after the plot kicks in.
Yeah, the plot kicks in after No Longer Human, and then it's just like, hey, we're here, let's fuck shit up, bitches. Like, that's basically their role. They push the actual story along in the show. Which is fine, it's not a bad thing. It's just hilarious that the show itself occasionally forgets it has plot. But it's fun when it doesn't have plot, though, which is double-edged sword, I guess. Anyway, with Alex and Mark Thompson, there's actually not, like, more so of the trio, there's not really a lot to talk about here. I like them both, they're both fine. I actually recognize Mark Thompson as, I forgot the character's name, and I looked it up before, because he is in Makia. Igor, I think it was. Am I right? Igor. I'm looking it back up real quick. Where is Makia? Izor. He's Izor. Yeah,
I think
Makia.
He's the guy who kidnaps the other, kidnaps Makia's friends.
I think so, yes. It's been a hot minute since I watched the movie. But, no, both Mark and Alex, I think, are perfectly fine. Alex has, like, fun, youthful energy. A lot of the younger presenting characters have a lot of youthful energy to them, and Alex is one of those. And I think it works very, very well. Mark as the, like, looks more like the intellectual kind of character, and it works very well. But I want to talk about Ian, because this is a surprise. That
did not expect
an
him to be
NYAV
in
Post
this.
dub. This is a new one to me, because NYAV Post usually will stick to New York and the LA area. Occasionally, like, very rarely do they go to Texas side. For instance, because I think they did Napping Princess, I believe, and they brought Brina Plenty in as the lead for that one. I believe. I'd have to double check that shit. Don't quote me on it. I'm pretty sure it was NYAV Post. Let me find Napping Princess. Yes, they did the ADR production for Napping Princess, and the lead in that is Brina Palencia. So it's very, 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 very rare that NYAV Post calls in from the Texas side. So seeing Ian in here was a surprise, nonetheless. But Ian's always a fun delight in shows. Ian as Kikuchi basically is the leader of the outfit of this trio, and you can, and again, because you mentioned Kikuchi is the best friend of Akutagawa,
or at least in this series, he keeps saying he is the best friend of Akutagawa.
Right. So you get to see Ian portray like the grief and the turmoil, seeing his best friend go through so much hardship and despair, and him really wishing to do something about that, but Akutagawa just taking his own life before he could even have that chance. So you can see that that struggle and that pain with Ian's portrayal, and it's really fun. I just wish the three of them were in here more, because there's not a lot to talk about.
I don't think they're gonna make a second season of this, but I wish they were.
I know, right? Oh, it'd be amazing and hilarious if it gets a
Please make a second season of this fucking show.
If they do a what's the name of the season 2 of Togenrambo Hanamaru?
Oh, it's
Zotsu.
Oh my god, you would think that Megan, the person who lives, sleeps, eats, breathes, and shits Togenrambu. Yeah, Zoku Togenrambu Hanamaru.
Oh, Zoku Togenrambu Hanamaru. That's it. Can we get a Zoku Bungo and Alchemist then?
Please. Please, God, yes.
And maybe we will get Dr. Seuss in this life?
No, please do it so we can get Atashi and,
oh yeah, Atsushi!
Atashi Nakanami. Yeah, no,
you
I
get
really...
Kunikita in there?
Megan really, I love Atashi Nakajima as, like, an author, too. So I also own, I actually own his, the work that they named his power off of.
Oh, yeah! It's, oh man.
Beast Beneath Moonlight.
Yeah, but anyway, I wish there was more that I could really talk about with these three. They just kind of appear to push the plot along. That's it.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much!
Yeah, there's not much to talk about. But they're there.
No,
they're good.
I like their performances a lot. Of course you would put Dostoevsky in this Japan. I'm looking at all the characters they haven't put in there.
Oh,
and I was like,
game?
I see it. There you are, Dostoevsky, you motherfucker.
Oh, they put it in the game too?
Yeah, he's in there.
That's hilarious.
There's crossover characters? Wait, the Elric brothers?
Wait, what?
Megan, stop reading Wiki.
You talk. Let me. You talk. I'll look at this now.
Yeah, I'll look at the wiki now, bitch.
I'll look at the wiki now.
No, out of all these characters, unfortunately, Mark and Alex do kind of take a background seat. Mark is definitely more of the deeper brooding character, and Alex is a bit more high-pitched. Not as high-pitched as Zenitsu, but he is a lot more feminine voiced.
Yes.
His character looks a lot more feminine. Ian Sinclair is clearly the outstanding portion of this. It is a very angry Ian Sinclair role. I do really like it. He kind of very much fills in, I think, a vocal register that a lot of the other characters aren't really having. Ian has a very distinct voice. He is very easy to point out in anime. And I think that Laura uses it to his advantage, definitely to make Kikuchi stand out, especially in opposition to Dazai's voice, where Dazai sounds definitely very much younger and a little bit more out of control. Ian's older and more controlled performance of Kikuchi, while having anger, really sells it. Also, I really like when, in the last episode, he talks about going all out because he's pissed off.
Yeah. And
then, he has a whip with a sword on the end. I love it. They gave Ian Sinclair's character a whip, so GG's happy. Alright, so let's move into our next set of characters.
They have a Kyoka Izumi in this.
Yes, because Kyoka Izumi is a very famous Japanese author.
Oh,
Kenji Miyazawa
is in here too.
Yes, he was also a very famous Japanese author.
I'm just
and a surgeon.
Alright, anyway.
Kenji Miyazawa's in there, Kenji Miyazawa, all the people from Bungo Stray Dogs in there.
Edogawa's in here. Rambo Edogawa's in there.
Rambo Edogawa looks like a fucking Conan villain from this thing, and I'm kind of impressed.
Hold on.
They knew exactly who the target audience for people wailing for Rambo Edogawa wanted.
Oh, hell yeah.
I'm telling you, man, we're just gonna have to flash things on screen for people, please. Jorai Games, please. Let's talk about, I'm so sorry, Musha no Koji Sanetsu, or as they call him, Musha, and Shiga Naoya. These two gentlemen appear kind of, I think, in episode 7?
Yeah,
6
they
and
do.
7.
Yeah.
Yeah, 6 and 7 when they do.
That's the farm.
When they do.
Super
when
Happy
they do
Farm
the
Time.
Portrait of Hell.
Yes, Super Happy Farm Time.
Yeah, Super Happy Farm Time. That turned out to be not Super Happy Farm Time because holy shit, Portrait of Hell is a book.
Yes. Portrait
of Hell is something I also really want to fucking read.
Oh, me too.
Musha no Koji Sonetsu, or as we're gonna call him, Musha. He was a writer and a painter who was actually a long-time philosophy, who was basically a philosophist of human optimism. He graduated Tokyo Imperial University in 1906. Well, he didn't. He left without graduating and joined his friends, Shiga Naoya, Urashima Takeo, and Satomi Tone in founding the influential literature journey Shirabaka, or the White Birch.
Okay.
He wrote, his early writings include The Good-Natured Person. Our example, he was also praised by Akutagawa for quote-unquote having opened a window to let the light into the literary world, which if you watch the show, I believe Musha asked for a room with a lot of lights and plants.
Yes, a lot of lights.
Which is a direct reference to his personality. He was the author of Aichishi, Love and Death, Ayoku, The Passion, the plays A Family Affair, and I Don't Know Either.
Mm-hmm.
And he would write poetry until he passed away. He actually lived a fairly long time. He did not die until 1976.
Wow, okay.
He lived to be 90 years old.
Good for him!
Yeah, no, he and Naoya actually both lived fairly long times. I'm going to start giving the birth and death dates for these people, for these authors, as we go on, just to give you kind of an example of how long some of these guys lived and how short, unfortunately, some of these authors lived.
Right.
Unfortunately, a lot of them did pass away very young.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it be from suicide or illness. Unfortunately, illness did steal a lot of these gentlemen from us.
Sorry, I'm also looking at the list of the authors now. They gave fucking Lewis Carroll a gun.
Of course, he wrote children's books. Of course he has a gun.
That's great. And then they have freaking Ernest Hemingway looks like a goddamn dilf, and he has a whip, so...
It's fucking Ernest Hemingway! Why wouldn't he be a dilf? Yeah, so Hori Tatsuo was born December 28th, 1904, and passed away May 28th, 1953, so he only lived to be 49. Kume Matsuo was born November 23rd, 1981.
Wait, who are we talking about?
I'm talking about the authors in the last section. I'm giving their death dates
okay,
really
I was
quick.
like, wait a second, I'm like,
he was born November 23rd, 1891, and passed away March 1st, 1952.
Wow, so that's like 40s, I think?
61. He passed away at 61.
That's not bad.
Kikuchi Kan passed away at 59. He was born December 26th, 1888, and passed away March 6th, 1948 of coronary heart disease.
Ooh, what about, Hori?
I said Hori. He
did?
died at 50. He died at 50.
Oh,
he died at 49.
I didn't pay attention to that one. My bad.
Yeah,
anyway.
He died at 49. I'll start the section.
Shiga.
I'll start the section off.
We didn't even talk about who plays them.
Oh, fuck! Right.
We gotta talk about who plays Musha and Shiga.
My apologies. Playing Musha is Lucian Dodge, and playing Shiga is Jake Pak. Lucian Dodge will know his characters such as Waver Velvet and Fate Zero, Keisuke Boji in Tokyo Revengers, and Zoisite in Sailor Moon. Jake Pak you'll know as Professor Sycamore in the Pokemon X and Y series, Yusaki Fujisaki in Yu-Gi-Oh! V-Rans, and Shinya Ishigami in number 24. I will get this started off. I really like the play of Lucian and Jake's voices.
Yeah, I did too.
They are definitely a more younger, peppier voice paired with a more older, deeper voice.
Yes, it's a fun dynamic for sure.
Yeah. Musha is very much the
He's ever the optimist.
He's ever the optimist based on the actual Musha no Koji.
Yeah.
Musha no Koji believed the best in humanity.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a very bright person. And I think the other thing is that he is almost effortlessly careless at points as like a character. He is very, very much a person who, is just like, well, okay.
Oh, the passive-aggressive note to Dazai.
Okay.
I'm very angry at you right now, and I feel like this letter expresses it. I will let you know about it at a different time.
And then he shows up right behind me. Then he shows up right behind him, and just the delivery of Dazai's after going, then why'd you write the letter?
Musha's such a fun one. Musha's is such an optimistic character, but also very passive aggressive. It's so funny.
Yes.
Compared to fucking Shiga, who is not passive at all.
Yeah, Shiga is very aggressive. Shiga definitely. Oh, I don't think I actually read Shiga's biography.
Oh no!
Sorry, Shiga!
There's a lot of information.
Shiga was very much known as, he was another member of White Birch. Mm-hmm. He was also very much a big reason why Japanese literary movements individualism and Tolstoyan humanitarianism, which is something that Musha also believed in. But he pretty much was very much the more realistic writer.
Yeah.
He was very much in the realism. He wasn't about abstract stuff, and that reflects in his character, where he calls out Akutagawa for being an airhead and not writing believable shit, and that's why his books suck. One of the things I like about the show is that these authors who have very differing styles are not afraid to be bitches to each other.
No.
And Jake's performance...
Shiga loves to offer his criticism quite a bit.
Yeah, and Jake's performance as Shiga is very much charged with both confidence and arrogance, but also, as you learn, even though he does not like his books, he doesn't believe that Akutagawa's work should be destroyed.
Right.
He's very much a man who, very much like Musha, they are both very set in their ways, but they have very different ways of going about it. Jake's performance being a lot more, I would say, rough around the edges and very much more me. I would say more, like, kind of me, but very much more like, I'm very much more set in my ways, and I'm not the type of person who's going to dumb it down for you.
Yes. Because he doesn't dumb things down even to Dazai, so...
Yeah, and meanwhile, Musha is a lot more princely and presentable, and Lucian's performance is very much more, like, effortlessly cutesy, kind of more cutesy, very much a more happy person who's very much willing to chat up with you, and he's like, oh, farming! I love that his quirk is farming because they have no food besides tuna.
Just the whole
and frankly, Ongo is going to kill them all.
Just that whole bit, like, the acting director, like, what do you expect? They need to let off some steam. Like, if this continues, you might have full-blown rice riots on your hands. Rice riots? It was good.
I like when he gets really angry about them questioning the second Akutagawa.
Yes.
And he gets, like, that's the most angry we ever see him get. Mm-hmm. And his thing is, he believes that second Akutagawa can't be a bad person because Shiga dies.
Yeah, Shiga sacrifices himself in Portraits of Hell.
So that Portrait of Hell can finish, because the ending of Portrait of Hell is the artist in it, he can't draw anything he hasn't seen, so... To finish the Portrait of Hell, they set his daughter on fire and he watches and paints it. He stands in for the daughter, burns himself alive so that the book can be finished and they can save Akutagawa from it.
Right.
But he's also kind of the reason the plot of this gets set off. And I really like Jake's performance in this. I really want to see Jake in more stuff.
Oh, for sure. I would love to see him in more things.
Yeah, Lucian's super good in everything he's in, so I have no complaints about his character. I think definitely there are a lot of people who are a little rough coming into their performances. I think Lucian was one of the least rough.
Yeah.
He very much came in and knew exactly what he needed to be.
He knew exactly what the kind of shit this is.
Yeah. Jake was a little rough at first, but I think it played well to the character,
yes,
so...
absolutely. He's one of the ones that I think took a little bit to grow into it. But... especially, like, by the end of the Portrait of Hell two-parter, I think it was great.
Yes.
I think he nailed it by the end of that part. For sure. Because it's like, I have never heard of Jake before. And then I see he's like a Pokemon professor, and it's like, what? Excuse me? Okay, sir. But I really do like it, because it's a no-nonsense, very blunt, nonchalant kind of tone, and it's just like you said, he's not gonna baby it, or baby you, dumb things down for you. And his quote-unquote rivalry with Dasai is very, very interesting and very fun to watch, with the dynamic between Jake and Dazai. And then Lucian is one of the more consistent performances in this show, and I really appreciate it, because it's again one of those youthful energy type of performances. So it's very light, it's very airy, and it works very well for Musha's character. But Musha being ever the optimist. Some of the fun bullshit that he does, like, but farming's fun. It'll get you exercising. You'll get to feel very productive and relieve stress. I fucking love Musha. He's such a goober. But it's not to say that Lucian doesn't get some dramatic moments too. Like you were saying before, like when he was defending the quote-unquote fake Akutagawa, and he's like, why would someone bring this that's Shiga's, why would they bring this back to me if they were in fact working for the Taints? Like it's one of the few more dramatic pieces for Lucian in the show, and it works really well. But no, these two are fun. I really want to see Jake in more things. He needs to do more things with NYAV Post, because it definitely sounds like he's more New York based than anything. It's my assumption, but I could be very wrong in that assumption.
Yeah, he is. I think he is New York based.
Also, fun fact, Lewis Carroll is voiced by Aoi Shota.
Oh yes, I'm aware. I'm aware.
Anyway, I had to throw that out there because I have the wiki still up. Also, fucking Edgar Allan Poe looks like a very hot, dapper man when he really shouldn't be.
Why isn't there Edgar Allan Poe covered in vomit?
See, H.P. Lovecraft is much more believable compared to Edgar Allan Poe and what he looks like.
I'm still not over the fact that Edogawa looks like a fucking Conan villain.
That's so fucking great! I love it. Anyways, I don't know if you wanted to move on to the next ones or not.
So, yeah, no, I'm good with the section. Let's move on to our next two authors.
Oh boy.
They are two of our poets, Murio Saisei and Hagiwara Sakutaro. Murio Saisei is kind of a more upbeat and gentle kind of guy. He very much pulls the Hagiwara Sakatoru out of his kind of more emo. They are basically the someone will die of fun couple. Because Saisei is also very much more about protecting Sakuratoru. Sakuratoru is very quiet. And in fact, Sakuratoru is almost willing to let himself become possessed by a taint.
Because he thinks it's his fault that Saisei stops writing poetry.
Writing poetry.
Yes. So he blames himself, and it becomes a whole thing for like episodes 5 and 6.
The Howl at the Moon.
Yes. His is the ones with the weird ass, like, someone gets shot trying to figure out a murderer, and it's a frog on a chair or a fucking clam on a chair for some god-awful reason, because why not?
Yes. So to go over a little bit of the background of Murio Saisei, this comes from the Kanazawa Museum, which Saisei actually has a museum dedicated to him.
Damn. Good for
Japan.
him.
It opened in 2002.
Nice.
According to them, Murio Saisei is one of Kanazawa's 3 great writers. He left behind not only poems, but also lyrical early novels, midlife novels that expose the bottom rung of society, and autobiographical essays covering a range topic. Essentially, the museum exists to celebrate his life. Unfortunately, I'm believing that this text is probably machines translated. Yes, and some of his poems are actually on the website.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, sweet.
But just to go over some of his biography as well, he was born in 1889. He used Saisei as a pen name. He published a poem in Seikyo Shibum. He formed the Hokushin Society of Poets with Oyama, Tokijiro, and others. He became serial published in a magazine called Zenobia, and receives a letter at age 24, from Hagiwara Sakatoro, and they became very close friends.
Aw, yeah.
He also formed poet groups called the Mermaid Society, the Fountain of the Table, the Kanjo. He published a lot of different poems. He was also a close friend of Ryunosuke Akutagawa.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, Moroi Saisei passed away at the age of 72 in 1962.
Wow, okay.
He lived to 72 years old. He actually was diagnosed with lung cancer and continued to write even when he had lung cancer.
Good for him.
Unfortunately, Hagiwara Sakatoru did not live as long. He was born November 1st, 1886, and passed away May 11th, 1942 in Tokyo at age 55.
Okay.
His works are known as Aoneko, Howling at the Moon, and Hyoto. He focuses a lot on intimate gloom, never the charms of nature or transcendent beauty. With its reliance on self-exploration as convention of vulgar seekers using the vernacular, Hagiwara's poetry represented the revolutionary trend in 20th century Japanese literature. He was also apparently praised by the novelist Mori Ogai, who we've talked about in other shows.
Yes.
So playing Saisei is Kyle McCarley, and playing Sakatoru is Alan Lee. Kyle McCarley, you'll know his characters such as Tao and Carolyn Tuesday, John Steinbeck in Bungo Stray Dogs, and Shinji Mato in A Limited Blade Works.
So it's not his first rodeo playing an author.
Yes. Alan Lee, you'll know his characters as Makoto Edamura in Great Pretender, Junpei Hyuga in Kuroko's Basketball, and Yohei Shibusawa in Talentless Nana.
Man, oh man. These two are such goobers. All of the authors are such goobers, which says a lot. Which is accurate to frickin' the developer of these games. Where do I want to go? What do I have for notes? So both of them are more of the youthful sounding. Kyle having a bit more optimism, similar to Lucian's Musha as before. But Kyle also has, I think, at the same time, like, this philosophical touch to his character.
Mm-hmm.
Because the episodes that are specific to Hagiwara, the resolution to that is the alchemist manages to summon Muro, and they delve into Hagiwara's story, and he helps him get freed from the taints that are involved. Because, like you said before, Hagiwara is throwing his quote-unquote, his life away in order to try and save his best friend. Because he thinks he's the reason why that he stopped writing poetry. When in reality, Saisei is just like, nah, I just found out I was more cut out to be a writer, like a novelist. Like, that's really it. And, Kyle has this interesting philosophical touch to the performance during portions of that, and it's a bit more optimistic as well, and I really like that a lot. I really want to talk about Alan Lee for a second here, because I have never heard Alan Lee be, like, really this soft-spoken before.
Yes!
And I have seen Great Pretender, I have seen, Fena Pirate Princess, I have seen, Yashihime, I have seen, I've seen Gargantia, and even Leto is not that soft-spoken. He's just an edgy little grump most of the show. But this is the most soft-spoken I've ever heard Alan Lee. And it's a very different take on his vocal tone, and especially for a character like this. And it's just so soothing and calming, even with Hagiwara being very, very unsure of himself and lacking in confidence and blaming himself for stuff. Like, it's a very nice touch. And can I just say, there's that section in episode 5 where this is after Akutagawa destroys the chair, then shit goes nuts. Mm-hmm. There's a narration, right? There's this narration piece of a reading of a poem. basically. It is Hagiwara. Hagiwara's narrating his own poem, and Alan is being that narrator is such a calming tone. It's a little bit haunting, but it's also very soothing, like a lullaby.
Mm-hmm.
And I really, really enjoyed that. It was a fun little touch that was just so wonderful. Like, between both Kyle and Alan, I think Alan's the standout for me on this one. Not only just because it's very different, but because, like, how the performance is handled and the tone of voice, and it's just so soothing to me. I'm just like, this is so nice. I want to hear more. I want to hear more, like, soft-spoken Alan sometime. It's very nice touch, and it's very different. Kyle is also fantastic, but he's always fantastic in the things he does, too. Like, these two are definitely among the more, like, consistent performances in the show. Like, I didn't have any issue with them trying to, like, grow into these roles. These ones are fine to me, so...
Yeah, no, I agree with you a lot. I really love Alan's performance as Sakutoru, mostly because it is a lot more soft-spoken than what I'm used to, and I'm a little less familiar with Alan.
Yeah, I only know him for a handful of things, but
I only really know him in Great Pretender, which Edinburgh was literally on, like, 12 levels of sugar.
Edamame was just, like, had, like, 10 cups of coffee, and he's just off and running, that's it.
And
let him go.
This character, I actually really like Alan's performance in this. I like the soft-spoken, more kind of scared, and I would say a little bit more childish thing, where, especially with Kyle McCarley being a lot more upbeat and friendly,
yes,
like a lot of the other character pairs, they make a very good back and forth dynamic.
Yes, absolutely.
It's something that I really like when dubs do this correctly, is the upbeat, low beat performance, I would like kind of call it. Where if you have a character that is energetic, like, there's a difference between levels of energy.
Yes.
Like, there's hyper energetic, like, I would say maybe, like, excited, normal, and then you start going into your more, like, sad, deadpan and stuff. Where Sakura Toru is in deadpan, he is very much more of a sad, soft character, while Saisei is a more upbeat, friendly character.
You might argue that Hagiwara, to some extent, thinks he's inferior to Saisei, which kind of, I think, contributes to that character dynamic a bit.
Yes, too, and remember, like we said, Hagiwara in this show blames himself for Saisei stopping.
Right.
Even though that's maybe far from the case, it might have been made up for the show. We don't, again, this is not a show that I would say 100% is a historically accurate show.
For much of the background stuff, like the actual historical background stuff, yes, but some of the actual, like, relationships between authors, not so much.
This is one of those things where, like, please remember, take anime with a grain of salt.
Yes, it's not the end all be all. Don't get your education.
Please do not use Japanese anime with historical fiction undertones as a replacement for actual research.
Yes.
And more research than Megan using Google. Like, please actually do research. Japan is not a monolithic country.
Again, we're doing this episode last minute, so...
Yeah, like, Japan is not a monolithic country. No. Its media is, like all media, is in the eye of the person producing it and putting it out. It is subjective.
Yes.
Please do not go online saying that Demon Slayer is an accurate representation of the Taisho era.
No.
I will look at you like you are white as fuck. I say this as a white person. Like, please don't.
Please don't. Like,
please, like, that's like saying K-pop is what Korean music is about. Like, please no.
This is an there's this word here. It's called
this is a game. Here's the thing.
This is a
game. This is adapting people's lives, making them cute anime boys, and trying to get you to spend money to make sure that you get them to fight things. This is not historically accurate.
No.
I'm trying to get as much information to try to contextualize shit for people so that we can contextualize the performance. I'm doing this live.
One, because we decided to do this episode last minute, but two, it's very necessary, honestly.
Yeah. But the thing I'm trying to put in and talk about as a more directing dub thing is that, yes, Saisei and Sakura Toru maybe have the same tone level. Like, they both sound very much the same age.
Yes.
But there's a difference in how Kyle is more upbeat, how Kyle is a bit more confident in his speaking, how he is very much more friendly compared to Alan making Hagiwara sound a lot more scared and a little bit more unsure of himself, even outside of their episodes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like when they are being attacked by, I can't believe it's not Akutagawa. Oh, we're getting there.
We're still getting used to calling him Akutagawa, not Octagawa right now.
Yeah, I'm used to calling him the other way.
Yeah. When I first heard
I don't
Akutagawa,
know which way's right, which is fucking worse.
Oh no. Now
I don't know which one is right, guys.
Now we have this pronunciation, it's like, oh, fuck you.
Fuck all.
It's always been Octagawa to me, and it's like, damn it.
Recording. It's just driving me nuts. But, like, even Saisei is very much more of a character where Kyle also puts the protective big brother aside to him because he sacrifices himself so that Hagiwara can get away, and then that sets off Hagiwara and they both get captured. Mm-hmm. Either way, I think they make a very interesting combination. One of the things I'd like to say is I'd like to see an anime led by these two. As the main vocal dynamic. That's something I want to praise about a lot about the pairings in the show is a lot of these actors I would love to see these two paired up as main characters in something or very substantial side characters in longer running franchises.
Oh no, I like using that argument, I would totally be down for a Kyle McCarley, Alan Lee led show 100%.
Yeah, so and again, they both have been leads in other shows,
right,
or prominent characters in the show. It's just very much the dynamic between them is very good. Vocal chemistry works really well in anime dubs.
It is important,
even if they don't share a booth to record things, because it's how you can tell that the show is in good hands. So let's move on to our next characters, which is Tokuda Shusei and Shimasaki Tosen.
Yay!
These are both, by the nature of this game, because
they both have bows.
Bow and arrows. So I have to make sure I get...
We only see them fight, like, at the end, that's it.
These are naturalist writers.
Okay, yep.
This is why they have bows and arrows. So let's start with... Who did I put up first? Shusei. Essentially, he is one of the 4 pillars of Japanese naturalism.
Okay.
Along with Masamune Hakucho, Tamayama Kantai, and of course Shimasaki Tosen. Mm-hmm. He was a disciple of Ozaki Kyoyo, who you will remember as a character in Bungo Stray Dogs.
Oh, what? Oh, I don't remember him. Which one was that?
That's because Kyoyo is a woman in that show.
Oh, that's why.
She's I lovingly describe her as Chuya's mom.
Chuya's mom and Izumi's mom.
She's the really hot redheaded lady that works with the port mafia.
She has a similar power to Kyoko, right?
Yes. Yeah. She's also, really hot.
Yeah. She's the mom.
He was a disciple of Ozaki Kyoyo, who is essentially more of a romanticism writer.
Okay, yeah.
But Shusei didn't really jive with that, but after the Russo-Japanese War, and kind of things shifted to wanting more naturalism, that's when Shusei really came into prominence. He wrote books such as Arata Jotai, The New Household, Ashiato, Footprints, and Kabi, Mold.
Okay.
He is very much Shusei is kind of the butt monkey.
In the show, yes.
Shusei is very much the butt monkey to Tosen's very quiet, judgmental ass.
Shusei's kind of there, and he's typically
Shusei's kind of like the house. Shusei's kind of the butt of the joke in the maid.
Yeah.
And they always talk about him being very boring. And he's a very, very boring person.
That's pointed out a lot.
Yeah, the actual Tokuda Shusei was born December 23rd. Happy birthday, buddy. Your birthday is coming up on Thursday.
Yay!
1871. And he died November 18th, 1943 at the age of 71.
Okay, so he lived pretty long. Yeah.
Yes, both these gentlemen also lived pretty long. Shimasaki Tosen, born March 25th, 1872 and died August 22nd, 1943 at the age of 71.
Okay.
He was also, again, one of the big foundations of naturalism, mostly during the Meiji Restoration era, 1868 to 1912.
Okay.
He was part of the short-lived Romantic movement. His first major novels were Hakai, The Broken Commandment. He was also influenced by Jean-Jacques Rousseau. He wrote a thing called Shinsei in 1918 to 1919. He eventually wrote 1935's Before the Dawn,
Okay.
which is considered his greatest work and one of the masterpieces of modern Japanese literature. His final novel, Toho no Mon, Gate of the East, was incomplete. He died before it was finished. But overall, he is, again, one of the founders of Japanese nationalism.
The other N word.
The other N word.
The other ism.
Yeah, not the bad one. Anyway, playing Tokada Shusei is Martin Fraser, and playing Shimazaki Tosan is Eddie Lee. Martin Fraser, you'll know his characters such as Iketo Yufu in number 24. Eddie Lee, you'll know his characters such as Ariel in Makuya, The Place Where the Promised Flower Bloomed, Gladion in Pokemon Sun and Moon, and Moonshadow in Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc V. Lots of moon.
A lot of moons.
Anyway. You can go first, because I gotta look up something again.
Okay, so...
I get to look up things I know now!
Hooray! Because at least the next several ones of these, it's like, hey, familiar territory.
I'm in familiar territory! I've watched...
With the exception of one.
I at least can piece together a little bit more of this, because I've done research on Dazai before.
Okay, so these two are very interesting. Martin and Eddie are very interesting because both of them are a bit more, I guess the best way to describe it, are relaxed in terms of performance-wise. Granted, Shusei is, again, the butt of the joke half the time. Because for example, when Musha's reincarnated and summoned by the alchemist, and because we mentioned this earlier, he asks for a room with plenty of natural light so he can have some plants. Mm-hmm. They turn to Shusei as is like, you'll handle that, right? He's like, excuse me? It's like, wait, since when do I have to do this shit? Why do I have to be in charge of this shit? But Martin doesn't really get to do a ton with Shusei. Shusei and Shimazaki, you don't even see them fight until the end of the show, so I didn't even know they even had fucking bows until you first see them in gears. Anyway, Martin, I think, was good. I didn't really have any issues with it. I think it took, like, just a tiny touch for him to get into it a bit, but I didn't see any other issues otherwise. Eddie Lee's an interesting one, because I'm gonna put Eddie Lee up here for me so I can see what else. Eddie Lee is still relatively new. He's been around for the past few years, but definitely in a big way, because, I mean, once you're in, like, Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh, you're set. Like, I was actually first introduced to him, not just in Makia. Makia was definitely an introduction for it. Was he in Makia? Oh yeah, there it is. I was like, where is Makia? Not just in Makia, but also Nakadama Drive, as the junior executioner, and I think that's where because in terms of recent stuff, that's where I really got to know Eddie as a voice actor, because it's been a long fucking time since I've watched Makia. It's been a few years. I'm just going based off of what I know from Akudama Drive going into this. Again, very soft-spoken. This is another soft-spoken character, but, like, I fucking also love Eddie's character, because what the fuck did I text you earlier about Eddie's character?
Let me cut my phone.
Hold on, I have my phone too, because I
okay.
said this, because I was in the middle of the last arc, and I said... It was before we went and napped. It was... Shimazaki is low-key a weirdo, and is also the smartest one in the room.
Yes.
Because Shimazaki, he's the smartest one in the room because he's the one who has his early suspicions about the quote-unquote fake Akutagawa, and is actually the one who is the closest to knowing what the fuck is actually happening.
Yeah, he's the guy who somehow managed to figure out the plot, but he was like, damn it, just short.
Like, just short by like a tiny detail. But still, it's like, smartest guy in the room. But he's also very much a weirdo. And Eddie's dynamic with Akutagawa is just fucking great. Because Shimazaki we can't tell, he doesn't really like Akutagawa, but he's like okay with him, but he's like, you're an interesting person, let me talk to you. And there was this scene when, right after this tiny hint of what this Akutagawa actually is comes through, and Shimazaki notices it. So a couple minutes later, he's like basically following Akutagawa, and is like, I just want to talk. And it gets to the point where he keeps following him, and following him is like, well, then I'll ask some questions, or you can tell me a story. Like, his first words to him, tell me a story. And they just keep walking, and Akutagawa's at this point is trying to just lose him, and he just starts running. And Shimazaki's just like running after him. It was so funny. The dynamic between Eddie and Akutagawa was just such a fun delight, because the vocal tone and the performances for both Eddie and Akutagawa are different. They're different enough because in some respects Akutagawa is a little bit more of like a subtle, a little bit soft-spoken tone of voice, but Eddie's Shimazaki can be a bit more quieter, so the vocal dynamic there works a bit, actually well enough to discern the two. Their dynamic is just so fucking great, because Akutagawa is just like, really? We're doing this shit again? And Shimazaki's like, yeah, I want to, tell me a story. Fucking, I want to talk to you. Tell me a story. Tell me a story. And it's just like the most calm tone of voice. It's like, I just want to know. It's like, I just want to talk to you, bro. I just want to talk to you. Can we talk? Can you tell me a story? I want to hear a story. Tell me a story. And I love it. It's so fun. And just tell
me a story.
Fuck
Go
off.
away, Andrew.
Fuck off. Tell me a story. Tell me a story. But no, I really like Eddie, and I'm sad I haven't seen him. I forgot he was in Night of Short Walk On Girl. I'm stupid. He's also in Night of Short Walk On Girl. So I can say more than just, but Night of Short Walk On Girl is another more energetic performance, because he's the director of the school festival operations. It's a bit more of an energetic performance in that one. So yeah, this is probably the more quieter I've seen Eddie Lee go. And it's a fun delight, and it's a fun dynamic with both Martin Fraser, who I don't really have a lot to say because he's not really there a ton except to be the butt monkey of the joke and kind of be there for the support system, which is nice. But also Eddie Lee and Shimazaki's dynamic, I would say, especially with Akutagawa and with some of the other authors, but especially Akutagawa. Like, it's so silly. It's so much fun. I love it.
Yeah, for me, unfortunately, Martin kind of fades into the background due to Shusei's kind of lack of being in a lot of things in the show. Mm-hmm. Obviously, he kind of stands there to bounce off of Alan Lee's Hagiwara. Eddie Lee's Shimazaki. To which, Eddie Lee Shimazaki is a very good, understated, deadpan kind of character.
Yes.
Eddie Lee really nails that. And the thing I like about it, too, is that he also makes Shimazaki, despite looking... Sorry, I keep saying Shimazaki. Yeah, despite Shimazaki looking younger...
Yeah.
He makes Shimazaki sound older.
Yes.
Shimazaki very much comes off as a character who looks young, but is wise beyond his years.
Absolutely.
And even his character design, he looks very tired, he looks very, like... Compared to a lot of the other characters, he looks a lot less bright. Him and Hagibara look the least bright and alert of all the characters.
But in reality, they are very aware, and especially in Shimazaki's case, he is the
Shimazaki is the most aware person in the whole thing.
Shimazaki's the smartest guy in the room.
Yeah, smartest guy in the room, but he won't be nice about it.
Yes.
And I think that his desires and his wants to figure out what's going on to protect the library really work. And I really like the fact that Eddie does play him like that. Mm-hmm. It's very hard to me to make a character sound old. Like, he still sounds like he's in the right body. The voice is right for the body, but the tone very much depicts the age.
The tone and the mentality.
Yes. And a lot of actors can't do that right.
Yeah.
And I think that for Eddie, because the biggest thing I know him from is Makia, and I think he's great in Makia, is that he nails at this. This is a character. Shimazaki, I think, is probably one of the hardest carrying members of the plot element.
Yes.
And I think that he has to dump a bunch of exposition and emotionality, too. Because remember, he also has that part where he talks with Dazai about the false stars.
Yeah.
And I think that he works with Dazai as an actor to get that scene's kind of more heartbreaking moment across. So I have nothing but praise for Eddie. And again, unfortunately, Martin, I wish that your character got to do more so I could hear more from you to see if I'd want to hear more from you as an actor.
Can I just say one thing about Martin real quick? I just remembered.
Yes.
Did you watch the little gourmet food segments?
Yes, Martin gets to do a lot of those, and that's where he shines the most because he gets to do.
That's where he really shines, and my favorite one is the one of him just like having his food but adding like the edible gold flakes to it.
Yes, because they always keep talking about how he's so plain. It's like this has no taste to it. It's
so
great.
Plain, he's so boring, and every time he's like at all of his meals, he outright states he's like, I like to try and be a bit more extravagant so I don't come off as boring, and including like the little edible gold flakes. And even then, Shimazaki's just like, man, you're still boring.
He was the one who made Chuya eat all the protein. Was that Ian? Was that Kikuchi?
Who made Chuya eat all the protein?
Was it Chuya who was eating all the meat?
It was Chuya eating all the... Oh, fuck. I'm trying to remember.
Was it Shiga?
No, I feel like it...
I think it was Shiga.
But this sounds like it's something that Ango would do, actually.
No, Ango kept trying to kill them with food.
Right.
So let's move on to our next section. Now we're starting to get into characters, or at least author names that I think a lot more people are more familiar with. Because of, again, Bungo Stray Dogs existing. We have the Reprobates. These
boys.
These fuckers. These were a group of 4 authors who were very close friends in the post-war era of Japan. There are 4 of them, including Osamu Dazai, who we'll be talking about in another section, but they are Oda Sanosuke, Sakaguchi Ango, and Den Kazuo. Oda Sanosuke, outside of Dazai, is probably the most famous one. He was born on October 26th, 1913. He is referred to as Odasaku. He essentially he was one of the quote-unquote hooligan writers, they also call them. His stories depicted real struggles in Japanese society at the time and were frowned upon by the militaristic government. These themes were evident in a lot, and they were kind of hated by the government. It's what made him one of Japan's most admired writings. His stories include emotional depth and depiction of extraordinary characters, compassion, honesty, and humor. Some of his most notable works are Meto Zenai, which was his second short story. His first story was called Zokushu, which meant vulgarity. It was published in 1939. He published Sesso in 1946. Again, he lived through the war. Unfortunately, he passed away of a lung hemorrhage in 1947. He had tuberculosis multiple times, and that caused him to have it. Upon his death, Osamu Dazai had published an emotional piece which served as his eulogy. And Sanosuke Oda is buried in Osaka, Japan.
Aww, Dazai. So sweet of him.
This makes sense that he is kind of the happiest one because he seems like the most well-adjusted person outside of Dan.
Yeah, it's true. It's very true.
Next up, there's Ango Sakaguchi.
Oh boy. I love Ango. He's so fucking great.
Ango is probably one of my favorite characters in the show.
Yeah, me too.
He was another member of the Retrobates. He rose to prominence after Japan's defeat in World War II. His most famous essay is called Dararakuan, or The Discourse on Decadence, which examined the role of the Bushido during the war. It is widely argued that he saw post-war Japan as decadent, yet more truthful than wartime Japan built on illusions like Bushido, which is a samurai code. He was also a substitute teacher.
Oh, really?
For a while. He wrote the ironical murder mystery, The Non-Serial Murder Incident, which won the Mystery Writer Japan Award in 1948. He died, unfortunately, of a brain aneurysm at age 48 in 1955.
Wow, okay.
However, he has actually had some influence on Japan's worldview and stuff. And in fact, there are 2 different anime that directly reference his works.
Really?
The Aoi Bungaku series, episodes 5 and 6 are Sakura no Mori no Mankai no Shita.
Okay.
Which is, of course, Ango's very, very famous story, in the forest under the cherries in full bloom.
Yes,
which is what's depicted in this.
Yes.
And the anime Ungo.
Ungo, really?
Ungo is based on Ango Sakaguchi's novel Meiji Kako Ango Tomoricho.
Well, hot damn, I own that one and I haven't even fucking watched it yet. I should fix that, though I heard it's not great.
It's not great, but it's thing.
It's
a thing. Yes. And then, of course, there is Kazuo Dan. He actually lived to be the oldest of the
of the 4 of them?
Of the reprobates of all things.
Really?
Yes, he died at 63 in 1976.
Good for him.
After he graduated college, he actually graduated college with a degree in economics. He dedicated himself to writing. In 1944, he won the Norma Prize while serving as a newspaper war correspondent.
Okay. I see it.
He resumed his literary activities and won the 1950 Naoki Prize. During his career, he wrote novels and poetry and traveled extensively in Japan, Europe, the United States, China, Russia, Australia, and New Zealand. He lived in Santa Cruz on Santa Cruz on the seacoast west of Torre Vista in Portugal.
Ooh,
on a house on the street that now bears his name. He essentially retired after that. He received the 1975 Yomori Prize for Kako no Hito. This is a monument. There's a monument to Dan's memory in Santa Cruz and another on Nokoshima Island. His poetry is engraved in stone along some of the canals of Yanagawa, which is a city in Japan. He was born in Yashimi Prefecture, so he's from Kyushu originally. His daughter is actually a famous actress in Japan named Fumidan.
Okay.
She won the 17th Japanese Academy's Prize for her role in the movie Bloom in the Moonlight. However, if you are a fan of anime, she was the voice of Yoko Shiraki in the Ashita no Joe films.
Really?
Yes.
Oh shit, okay.
And she's still alive. She's 67.
Holy shit. Random question, because this is a plot point in the show itself. Did Don actually write a biography about Dazai after he passed?
Let me look into it.
Because that is a point that was made, and that's essentially how Don manages to get reincarnated, because... So Dazai gets sucked into no longer human and goes batshit crazy, and quote-unquote Akutagawa, his idea is, I'm gonna taint the book of another of his friends, save it, get his friend in the process, and have him delve into that book to save his ass. So, and the book that was chosen was the...
Yes.
He did, okay. Was the biography that Kazuo Dan wrote for about Dazai after Dazai passed. So, that's interesting, okay.
It is called Danzai de Ango.
Anyway, who voices these fuckers?
Playing Oda Shinosuke is Rob Moriera. Playing Sakaguchi Ango is Billy Kometz, and playing Dan Kazuo is Tom Aguilo. Rob Moreira, you will know his characters such as Yukimura in Fena Pirate Princess, Yuki Korida in number 24, and Fukuro Koji in Mazinger Z Infinity. Billy Kometz will know his characters as Shine Nozen in 86, Otomatsu Matsuno in Mr. Otomatsu, and Mikhail in Sirius the Jaeger. Unfortunately, I was not able to find any info on Tom Aguilo via Anime News Network.
So, because I did some prep work with visuals and editing stuff, so Tom Aguilo, first of all, apologies for if we mispronounce your name.
Mm-hmm.
He is more known as a voiceover artist, particularly for a voice actor in general, for like commercials and audiobooks, and I think he's done a few video games, but primarily like commercials and things like that is where his bread and butter is normally. So, little context there. Fucking love the reprobates so much. They're so stupid. They're so fucking dumb. Dazai included. Like, oh, I love these stupid boys. Tom is Kazuo Dan. Like, he's probably the most level-headed of the four of them in this show, and it works really nicely. I'm just a little sad because Dan doesn't really have a lot involved, because he shows up basically at the end of the two-parter for No Longer Human and is kind of there for the last bit as the plot gets pushed along by the Kikuchi squad. So I kind of wish Tom had a little bit more to do, but I will admit, him basically like talking down Dazai in the No Longer Human part actually was really good. I did enjoy it. It was a touch rough at the start of it, but it kind of as that little back and forth progressed alongside Dazai, it grew and it grew, and I was like, okay, I do like this. This is a bit more believable to me. Rob Moria as Odasaku is such a... It's so interesting, because I watched Feta Pirate Princess. This is one of those moments where it's like, what the fuck is happening? Because Yukimaru is basically like freaking deadpan, like so serious, male lead ninja boy, like. And this is not that performance. This is not that voice at all. It's much more. It's a bit more lighthearted. It's a bit more fun and lively, and it's just really nice. Though Don is one of the more grounded of the reprobates. Odasaku is like probably second to that. And it shows with Rob's performance, because up until Don is even introduced as an actual reincarnated author in this show, Odasaku is that grounded figure. And he's the one who deals with all of the bullshit that Dazai.
I mean, if you had to deal with Dazai and Ongo, you would want it. You would need help. You need help. Someone needs help.
Odasaku's the only one who could. Like, so let's not even joke. Odasaku's the only one that can put up with and try and get them to stop their bullshit half the time. It's great. And I think Rob's performance is a lot of fun. It took a second for me to get into it, but that's only because I'm coming off of like dark brooding ninja man Yukimaru from Fena, and I'm going into this. Like, that's really the only reason why it took me a minute to get into it, because it's like a stark contrast in terms of vocal tone and performance for Rob. But I'm here to talk about Billy Kovetsu's Ongo, because he fucking steals the scenes he's in, and it's great. Like, Billy he's the cool kind of guy, but he's also a little bit of an idiot. Like,
Ongo is trying so hard to be cool with his glasses and his leather.
Yes.
But, like, he's the guy who would be like, I'll have her home at 6.
Absolutely. He's the one who's trying to be cool, but at the end of the day would probably be the gentleman of the four. Let's be real. But I think one of my favorite running jokes with Billy is, we keep bringing it up with Ongo, is how much of an awful cook he is. It's one of the running jokes in the show that Ongo is just shit at cooking. And the reason for that is fucking... He keeps experimenting with dishes and food. Is like, this needs a bit more corruption. And that's like the key word that is thrown in there a lot, is the amount of corruption that's in the dishes. And it's such a... Ongo
Sakaguchi in Bungo and Alchemist tags corruption kink.
It's like, and he has some fun moments and one-liners, not just with the corruption stuff, but I think I brought this up a little bit earlier when we were talking about Hagiwara and the when the group of them delved into his book, and there was the whole who fucking murdered this person. Ango ended up being the third person who was murdered. He's like, well, if I'm going to hell, they picked a really good person to go to hell at this point. And Chuyu's just like, are you really thinking about that right now? Like, Billy as Ango has some fun one-liners. It's great. In terms of one-liners, I think Billy got to have the most fun with them.
Oh yeah, no, Billy's having the time of his life.
Billy always has the time of his life with anything he does, I realize, and it's just phenomenal. But no, Ango, I think, is probably among my favorite performances because of how much of an idiot he can be. And Billy is just like, Billy thinks he's the smartest one in the room, but he's actually not. He thinks he's the smartest and the most creative. With his, hey, let's make this. And oh my god, the farming bit where fucking Shuya, the next day, he's gonna go early to steal all their rice that they grew so you could have sake. But when Urasaku and Dazai get there and they realize all the rice is gone, they're like, wait, where's Ango? And he apparently had a hankering for curry during the night and made over 100 fucking plates of curry for no reason. With all of the rice. And then Odasaku's like, might as well have some. It's so good. The dynamic between the 4 reprobates is really good. I'll say the 3 reprobates are really good because Tom doesn't get to have a ton of time with them, which is unfortunate. But the dynamic between Rob, Billy, and Dazai is just so stupid. It's so much fun. And in the scenes where Don Kazuo is part of it, because there's a mix of like flashback scenes with them at like the bar having drinks and shit, and then with some of the fun dynamics when all 4 of them are reunited for the first time when Don Kazuo comes in to basically kick Dazai's ass. Like, the dynamic is there. I just wish that, again, Tom got to do more in the show. That's no fault of Tom at all, honestly. That's more on the show. But the reprobates are my favorite group in this show. Because they do so much stupid shit.
They get to have a lot of the comedy.
They have a lot of the comedy. They have the majority of the comedy, and it helps because the reprobates are there very frequently. So they carry the comedic moments really nicely. I think the only other character that carries a good portion of the comedy is actually Chuya. And we're going to talk about Chuya next anyway. So... the 5 of the reprobates and plus Chuya, and then there's Akutagawa. They're the ones who really primarily carry the story and specifically the comedy of it, and it works really nicely, all things considered. But no, I love the reprobates. They're so fucking stupid. I just love their hijinks and shenanigans. Here, have some corruption stew. Oh my god, there was the one gourmet thing at the end of one of the episodes. And fucking...
Is it the one for Dazai's birthday?
The Dazai birthday one, which was, I think I was 12. That one was a good one. Which was
really cute. That was really cute.
It was very cute. And
where Ango makes him the cake with his favorite foods and the little Akutagawa prize. And Dazai's like, I don't want the fake prize, I want the real one. But he doesn't comment with the fact that the man made cake with, like, meat in it.
Yeah. And then you have... That one's cute, too, because it has Akutagawa in the hallway just overhearing. He has a little cupcake for Dazai,
with the little
too.
Laguna Power prize!
Yeah, it was so cute! But no, the one I'm referring to has, Ango, Odasaku, and, the Kikuchi squad. And, fucking... no, is it... No, it's not the gourmet one. It's at the end of the show itself when they're cleaning up the mess. That's what it was. Where,
yes.
Where Ango is just like, hey, eat up, you want some food, right? And and it's just like this big, weird pot. It looks like a hot pot, but it's like...
It is, but it's like blue and shit because Ango is all about corrupting people with his meals.
Yes.
So my guess is that the Ango in this one just wants to give everybody diarrhea.
I guess so. And then the Kikuchi trio is just like, oh god. They're just dejected.
And Odasaku is like, I tried, man.
I tried.
Odasaku's like, I don't get paid enough for this.
I think we said before that basically Odasaku and Ango are fucking
and Ango
married.
are basically
married.
Married in this.
Yes. And Don and Dazai are at least boyfriends, but Dazai has a what was it? Dazai like wants a Kutagawa or some shit. What was it we said earlier?
What was it?
About how Dazai and Don are boyfriends, but
Dazai's hot for teacher.
Dazai's hot for teacher. That's it.
He's hot for fake teacher because his real teacher was kind of a dick to him. Hi, Chris Hackney.
Hi, Chris Hackney. Yeah, the opening is a lie, by the way.
Yeah, the opening has characters that just never show up in the show,
like including another Lucian.
Yeah, Tanizaki Junichiro. Tanizaki.
Yeah, another Lucian, and then Chris Hackney, who's in the first episode because he's in the Run Mellow story.
Yeah, because he's the person they try to use for the Tate.
Right, and then he pops in at least a couple of times, but... What?
But Tanizaki is the one who can make himself invisible in Bungo. That's what it was. I was like, I know that name's familiar to me.
Oh, Tanizaki.
Yeah, he's a Spike Spencer's character.
Tanizaki. Okay, gotcha. That's Lucian. That's Lucian's character. I was like, wait, who plays that one again? And then I was like, okay.
Which is really funny because Lucian Dodge plays Kenji Miyazawa in Mr. Dogs.
Whoops.
He also wrote that dub, so.
Maybe. But anyway.
You know, so let me go on my feelings so that you've kind of dominated the talking for this section.
I love the retrobates.
No, it's fine. The retrobates are great. That's why.
They're great.
Definitely Tom did a good job. I think he's by far the roughest of the retrobates, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's just an experience doing anime as compared to other things.
Yeah.
But I think he does a serviceable job. It could have, I think, been better, obviously, but it's not a bad performance. It's just a very okay performance.
I just kind of wish that Don Kazuo got to do more.
Do more.
He could have done more.
But whenever they put Oda and Odasaku and Ango together, Billy and Rob steal the scenes.
Yes.
They are the stealing squad. Oda was a little bit rough. Rob was a little bit rough at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he really definitely grew into Oda's a lot more fun persona. He is the mature fun guy.
Yes.
Ango is the guy who thinks he's mature, but he's not. And Dazai is, well, he's Dazai.
Dazai is Dazai. There's not much else to say there.
Rob definitely captures that balance of being fun and serious. He's definitely the mom of the group.
Yes.
He is the mom character. He gets to do the male mom voice.
Mm-hmm.
I really like it. And I have not watched Fena because I have no time.
The dub for Fena is great.
The dub
is...
I'm waiting. I've told Fena does not jump a shark. It launches itself into low Earth orbit.
Yeah, it launches itself into like 5 universes over. Like
it's something happens. It's weird.
It's
spoilers.
Andrew did that thing where he made a comment about how the show went, and then he didn't expect it to go that way in actuality. So that's how much it flies over the fucking shark.
I'm still not over. What the fuck's gonna happen? Is the car gonna blow up? Show I was kidding. I refuse to tell. Platinum End. So Rob does a really good job, and the thing is that these are all characters I've seen. These are all authors I've seen interpreted into different characters in a different show with a different dubbing studio.
Yes.
That's one of the things I also really want to praise Laura for.
Mm-hmm. Is
that these characters sound very different. Like Rob's performance as his Odasaku, because his Odasaku isn't as serious or in such a dark material compared to David Vincent's Odasaku.
Yeah.
I think that Rob got to play up the more happier aspects of this, and I think the thing is, too, is how much of genuine care that they have for each other comes through in their voice.
Oh, absolutely. The retrobates really care about each other.
Yeah, and, how they talk about how Dazai is a clown, and Dazai is this, but he was I think it is, Rob's performance is so genuinely talks like, yeah, Dazai is a clown, but he cares about people.
Yep.
Like, he cares, and when they have to fight the crazed version of him, I think it is Otasaku who lets himself get stabbed first.
Yes. I don't know. He doesn't let himself get stabbed.
He just gets stabbed first. And then Billy Kometz's Ongo is... I like that this is the more serious Billy that you would see. Like, this is very much not his Otsumatsu or his Gallo. This is more towards his Shin voice and register. But it's still more lighthearted than Shin from 86. And Ongo is a guy who is trying to be cooler than he is.
Keyword, trying.
Trying, because again, I'm not gonna lie, the Cherry Blossom episodes are two of my favorite episodes.
Oh, that was...
And he does such a great job playing the nameless man in the mouth, the protagonist. Mm-hmm. And then you swift into the actual Ongo who wears leather, wears sunglasses, wants to corrupt everybody. Yeah. He's more interested in the fall of grace from man. But he's like domestic, like he's the guy who woke up and started cooking curry because he had a craving. Yep. And he's like trying to be, I love that. I think the way I can describe it as, it's Billy trying to play a really cool character and a not really cool character. He was a guy who thinks he's cool, but he's not.
Yes.
But it's not like Otsumatsu where everyone around him knows he's a fucking loser. Because everybody genuinely thinks Ongo is kind of cool.
Yeah.
He's just a little eccentric.
He just has his little quirks.
And I like that. It's the cool but eccentric personality.
Yes.
And I just think that he has so much fun playing this character. And yeah, so let's move on to the next character, the acting director, aka the cat. And everyone's...
Yay!
Everyone's favorite petty little bitch.
We love him. It's great.
Chuya Nakahara.
In this house we stand Chuya.
In this house we stand Chuya Nakahara.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. Chuya Nakahara. I have to look up Chuya Nakahara, the author.
God, I love Chuya. Chuya's given a gun in this universe.
Yes, because he's a poet.
Yes.
Which means that he gets a gun. The cat is just a cat. It talks. It's the acting director. It's the
voice for the alchemist.
Yes.
So, yay. That's all we need to know about him.
Yeah. Chuya Nakahara, born April 29th, 1907, and died October 22nd, 1937. Fortunately, he passed away at the age of 34. Is a Japanese poet active during the early Showa period. Originally shaped by Dada and other forms of European experimental poetry, he was one of the leading revolutionary Japanese poets, although he died at the young age of 30. Sorry, 30, not 34. He wrote more than 350 poems throughout his life. Many call him the Japanese Rimbaud for his affiliation with the French poet who he translated. He did marry and he had 2 children.
Oh, nice.
He married Takeo Ueno. The literary award, the Nakahara Chuya Prize, is established in 1996 by Yamaguchi City in Chuya's memory. His poems that he wrote very famously were of the following: were The Song of the Goat, The Song of Bygone Days, and of course everybody who is a big fan of Bungo Stray Dogs would know this one, In the Tainted Sorrows, which his power is named for.
Yes.
That unfortunately this Chuya does not have anti-gravity.
He gets a gun in return. He gets a gun instead, which is fine.
Yeah, he gets a gun in this. Also, I think it is like legal description that Chuya Nakahara must be depicted with his hat.
With fedora.
With his fucking hat.
With his fedora looking hat. It's like, just do it. Because, again, Chuya's a petty little bitch and we love him.
Chuya has a very, I'm not gonna lie that Chuya Nakahara has a very, very distinct face as an author.
Yeah.
He has a very, very distinct face. He has a very distinct look, and I actually think that this anime actually captures it fairly well. I will send you a picture.
Oh, okay. I'm looking him up right now, actually. I searched Chuya Nakahara, and the first thing it gives me, of course, Bungo Stray Dogs.
Stray Dogs.
No, yeah.
Thank you to Bungo Stray Dogs and Bungo and Alchemist for ruining Google search just like Faye fans.
No, yeah, I'm looking at pictures of the actual Chuya Nakahara, and the face.
And he looks like him. They always have the hat.
More accurate, yeah.
Yeah, he actively kind of looks like him.
Yeah, it's a bit more accurate to the real Chuya Nakahara.
Yes.
That's interesting.
Playing the cat is Dino Andrade, and playing Chuya Nakahara is Barrett Letty. Andrade has played characters such as Willie in Motherfuckers, the God of You's books in The Night is Short, Walk On Girl.
Yay!
Barrett Letty, you will know as characters such as Madoka Hongo in number 24, Muliane in Pokemon Sun and Moon, and Akira Zaizen in Yu-Gi-Oh! V-Rans.
Woohoo!
I'll start first in this section. Dino is actually the person who I thought had the roughest time in this.
Really?
A lot of times the cat's voice just didn't settle with me.
Okay.
It felt very unnatural. Even for, like, here's the thing. I have to compare this to Tokenramu. I've not watched Katsugeki. I keep meaning to watch Katsugeki, and I keep pushing it off because I know that I don't know if I'm going to enjoy the dub of that as much as I enjoy the Hanamaru dub. Because the Hanamaru dub is one of my favorites.
Right.
Even with its flaws and all, that is just that's like a comfort dub for me.
Okay.
But in that, Sunny Straight plays the Konosuke's. And Sunny Straight plays the Konosuke's in a very comedic but funny, normal sounding Sunny Straight voice. He doesn't feel like just an exposition dump, he feels like a living, breathing character. Sometimes I don't think Dino was able to make the cat sound like a living, breathing character, even for as much exposition dumping, because they do kind of fuck with the cat a lot in this show.
They do.
The cat at one point complains that they're growing tobacco on his Christian Minecraft server.
And then Dazai goes and burns a whole warehouse because
House down, and
Dazai.
everyone's like, well, tobacco's legal in Japan. It's not like we're growing weed, which is very illegal in Japan. You'll get more punished for having weed in Japan than child porn.
Oh my god.
Yeah, fuck you, Watsuki. Don't cut that out. But I think that the funniest thing that they have Dino do is, like a cat, they have him roll his R's.
Mm-hmm.
To make it sound like a purring.
Yeah.
And again, I don't think this is a bad performance, I just don't think that it sounded like a normal speaking voice enough for me, like everybody else did.
Okay.
It just didn't sit with me. However, Barrett Letty also steals the show whenever Chuya is on screen, because, God bless him, he channeled every amount of petty little bitch he could. Because, for the life of this, I don't know if it's like a law in Japan to make Chuya like this, but it's great.
Every time it happens, it's phenomenal.
And the thing is that he very much captures the sarcastic, kind of butt monkey aspects of Chuya, because as much as the show shits on, poor Shusei, it shits on Chuya harder. Like, when he gets shot in the head, they're all like, yay, Chuya's dead, basically. And I love his just delivery of, please take my murder seriously. It's like, Pierce, I have been shot.
He gets so angry about it because they're just, like, fucking off.
Around, and then he's like, really, a frog?
Really? What the fuck?
And then, I love in the last episode, though, when he gets to be cool, and the I can't believe it's not Akutagawa is like, you're a terrible shot. And then he gets his revenge, like, oh, so I'm a terrible shot, am I?
Yep, that's a good one.
And you're just like, yes. Yes. I think, to me, the way I describe Barrett's performance of Chuya is the energy of... He nails this performance from the second Chuya shows up.
Oh, yeah.
Is when Dazai is talking about trying to escape the library, and they kind of start shitting on Dazai for his multiple failed lover suicides.
Yes.
And Dazai's like, he's like, oh, come on. And Dazai's like, well, I'll just end myself and get out of here. And he's on the balcony and he can't jump. And Chuya has all the energy of do a flip.
Yes. And then fucking...
do a flip, you pussy.
After that, fucking Dazai...
And then everybody's like, well, Chuya, you did the same thing. And he's like, I did not.
No, and then you get a little flashback of basically, essentially the exact same framing of the scene with Dazai climbing the stairs and trying to figure shit out.
But it's with Chuya.
With Chuya.
And then, he's writing into, I think, Kenji Miyazawa, which is funnier to me.
Yeah. And then, like, fucking the line that he says to Dazai is like, yep, I guess we're broken butt buddies now.
Yes, okay, so this is one thing I do need to call out. He calls him a peach flower boy.
Yes.
I don't know if that just doesn't translate very well from Japanese. It was super literal. I don't know. It was like the equivalency of calling him a virgin. Which Chuya is allowed to do because Chuya banged a woman and had 2 kids, so. Just saying. So yeah, no, that's another thing. I want Barrett Leedy in more stuff.
Yes. 100%.
He was absolutely fantastic. I think he's probably, like, I don't like to give my W's away pretty early, but he is in the running for one of my underrated performances of the year.
Yeah. And he's only done, like a few things. Like, not even kidding. So he's still relatively new.
Yes.
Apparently his skills and abilities include improvisation, whistling, and the ukulele, according to ANN.
I mean, you got one of those in here, so.
I mean, yeah.
Go ahead, Steph. I'm good.
Okay. There's not much more I can add about Barrett as Chuya. It's just so much fun. Like, it's fun, and it's a sassy, petty Chuya, which is exactly what, at this stage, with any iteration of fucking Chuya Nakahara, that we're used to, and it works very nicely. I kind of want to spend some time with Dino and the acting director, because I have the opposite viewpoint of you, actually. I actually really liked his portrayal of the acting director of the cat. Was it rough in the beginning? Yes, but only as in like a minor adjusting period. But as it progressed, I actually really enjoyed how otherworldly it actually kind of sounds. Because this is not a normal character, obviously. This is a talking cat running a library.
Holy shit, a talking cat.
I know. And I think it's also because you haven't heard Dino before in other roles, I believe, correct?
No, this is the first time I have.
So, I heard him in Night is Short, Walk On Girl, right? And it's the same tone of voice, except in Night is Short, it's a bit more snarkier and like quick-witted and sassy compared to the acting director here. So I already have an idea of what Dino sounds like, potentially. So I can understand, like, you think it's a little bit more rough around the edges and all that fun stuff, and a bit more inconsistent. I found it rather enjoyable because it's this otherworldly being, and it's not a natural sounding voice, because this is not a natural living cat. You know what I mean? I guess I don't know if it's a suspension of disbelief thing, or maybe it's just a tone of voice, but that's kind of how I feel about it. I was fine with it, and also the little added touch of the rolling of the R's for some of his words, like perfect. I can't roll my R's.
Oh yeah, no, I love that.
That
I
was
love that aspect.
again,
I actually think that's a really great touch, and I don't know who to compliment, Dino or Laura. I'm gonna say Laura though, because she's the director.
Yes, like it's a fun, nice little touch to add to the character because it's a fucking cat. Like when you get to have that opportunity, it's like, why not? Why the fuck not, right? But no, I really like both. I do like both these performances. Dino's was just a touch rough in the beginning because of an adjustment period, but I think for me anyway, he grew into it rather quickly to me. And I think the tone of voice actually worked for the character of this talking cat. But I feel like you might, considering the animation style of Night is Short and the story and the character of the God of Used Books, you might enjoy Dino's performance more in that when you get around to watching that. I feel like you'll enjoy him more there. So I understand you not being a fan here. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, but I liked it. So, yeah. Oh no! Oh boy, the last ones.
Did you already talk about Chuya?
I know, there's not much more I can add that you've already said.
Okay, fair.
So, I'm just like,
Finally, it's time to talk about them.
Yes.
Oh, boy.
The teacher and the one who's hot for teacher.
I have to put the word author in this.
I
wrote an article about 2 of these people before, so...
Yeah, before you get Bungo Stray Dog stuff in a search.
I have to put the word author, and I'm very upset about this.
I mean, it's upsetting for our current purposes, but all things considered, it's actually kind of funny. Like, Bungo's taking over.
You know what? Fuck it.
Like, I'm satisfied with that thought, but at the same time, it's just like, oh man, this, it's like, damn it.
Fuck you! I wrote a blog about this 5 goddamn years ago.
Hell yeah. Oh, are you looking it up right now?
Hell yeah!
Yes! Let's go, bitch. Oh, shit.
Osamu Dazai. I will link this article in the goddamn description.
Hell yeah. Make sure you send it to me.
Osamu Dazai, born June 19th, 1909. He passed away June 13th, 1948 from suicide.
And then everything gets sour.
Yeah. Osamu Dazai was influenced greatly by the works of Ryunosuke Akutagawa and Masuji Ibushi. He was a troubled man who dealt with bouts of addiction, societal and family infidelity, multiple attempts at suicide, and his actual death was a double suicide. He has written stories such as Josihito Doke no Hana, which had his humor and wit, while others like Fuka Hayeki showed his hope. Obviously, if you've watched Bungo Stray Dogs, you know his power is based on his very famous novel, No Longer Human, a book in which the protagonist feels like he cannot interact with society because he cannot laugh and show joy. He has also wrote books such as stories such as Run Milos and The Setting Sun.
Those two are mentioned in this show.
They're actually, Run Milos is the first episode,
Correct.
and No Longer Human, I believe, makes up the episode 6 and 7 arc, or 7 and 8 arc.
Around that point, yeah. And then Setting Sun is mentioned in a really whacked out dream sequence in, like, what was that, episode 4?
Yes, with beautiful performances from, I believe, Billy Combetz and Casey...
No, it's Robbie Damon.
And Casey Monglino.
Yes, correct.
But yeah, the real Dazai, again, and in this show, he's very much a clown. He is very much a fun, upbeat guy who has a problem letting others in based on the betrayal he felt from his teacher, who did not award him the Akutagawa Prize.
AKA Chris Hackney in this show, apparently.
Hi, Chris Hackney. And again, Dazai's influence on anime can be seen, if you're an anime fan, Osamu Dazai's things can be felt around the world.
There is an anime film adaptation No Longer Human, I believe, correct?
Aoi Bungaku adapts No Longer Human. Human Lost, a co-production from Funimation, was an adaptation of No Longer Human.
That's the one I'm thinking of.
Again, it is Tsuki Gakure has references in its episodes such as, again, The Setting Sun and Run Melos. I'm trying to think of other ones that have Dazai that isn't Bungo. But anyway, to move over to the other person that we have to really talk about is our good friend Ryunosuke Akutagawa, who was born April 29th, 1907 and passed away of suicide on October 22nd, 1937.
So he was... how old?
I'm sorry, I read the wrong dates. I'm sorry, March 1st, 1982 to July 24th, 1927.
So he was in his 30s or 40s around then?
I think he was in his 30s?
You said 87 to 27?
1892.
92. So
35. He was 35.
30s. Yep, he'd be in his 30s.
He was 35.
Okay.
Again, the premier literary award in Japan is the Akutagawa Prize. He is considered the father of the Japanese short story. He was, again, good friends with Kikuchi Kan and Kusame Mato. He died via overdose. Essentially, he wrote, the series plays it as, like, his earlier works were at odds with his later works, such as the series Gears. He wrote many influential series, including Rashomon and The Grove. In The Grove, Spider's Web?
Spider's Web or Spider's Thread? One of those.
Thread. I'm gonna... You know what, Megan? Look it up.
Portraits of Hell is one that's
Portrait of Hell!
in this show.
Fucking Portrait of Hell!
Like, me and Megan are just like, we want to read that fucking book.
Yeah, he has written so many books. Kappa, Rashomon, The Nose, The Spider's Thread, The Screen of Hell.
Yes.
The Dragon Holds Potter's Hair, Autumn Mountain, In a Grove, or In a Bamboo Grove, which is actually what the ending song is based off of.
Oh, gotcha, okay.
Kappa, Gears.
Gears is the one that's adapted in the last 2 episodes of this show as well.
Correct. His legacy, again, can be felt all over Japan. He had a highly publicized dispute with Junichiro Tanizaki. Towards the end of his life, however, he did suffer from visual hallucinations and anxiety. So essentially that was how they did it. Again, his legacy was felt. In fact, the most famous thing to, I think, outside of his works, especially for a Western audience. Because, again, I know I was shown this in college because I studied film, is obviously Akira Kurosawa's very famous film, Rashomon. Which is based off his work, and the Rashomon effect, and how much Rashomon has been parodied around the world. Like, I think there's like a Simpsons fucking joke about Rashomon.
Really?
Yes, there's a Simpsons joke about Rashomon.
Huh. Can I just also point out, I found it very interesting when you mentioned that in his later years he suffered from, like, hallucinations and anxiety, which could play into how they managed to kind of adapt this story about, I can't believe it's not a Kutagawa. Like, it's, I didn't know that. That's actually really interesting, and it makes it actually, like, we don't know if he had another side that he created, like, in his later years, but considering the fact that he had suffered from, like, these hallucinations, it kind of helps with the believability of it.
Yeah, now it makes sense with what the end. Oh, by the way, the Simpsons joke is, come on, Homer, Japan will be fun. You liked Rashomon. Not how I remembered it. That's not how I remembered it.
Okay.
There we go. So, playing Osamu Dazai is Zina Robinson, and playing Akutagawa Ryunosuke is Richard Thomas. Our good friend Zina Robinson, who we have an interview with up on our channel. Woo! You can go check that out. Has played characters such as Hawks in My Hero Academia, Vanitas in the case study of Vanitas and Go in Pokemon Journeys. Richard Thomas, this is his first named role on ANN.
Yep.
So I would actually do you want to go first? Because I feel like I have a lot to say, so.
I mean, I also have quite a bit to say. We can just go back and forth, honestly, with these two.
I think I want to start off this with, oh my god, I love Zeno in this.
Zeno's amazing!
Zeno is so fucking good in this. And I remembered I mentioned to him, I was like, yeah, man, I was really upset. I have my copy of Bungo and Alchemist is on the way. He's like, oh man, we had so much fun with that.
Yeah.
And the thing is that he brings so much energy and charisma to his Dazai.
Yeah.
Because this Dazai is a very different take as a character from the Bungo Stray Dogs Dazai and Keiji Tang's performance.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's very different.
And actually, even in the Japanese, Dazai is not played by Mamoru Miyano in that. He's played by Yuichi Nakamura.
Okay.
To give some people some information on who Yuichi Nakamura is, he has characters such as Tomio Okizaki in the Clannad franchise.
Ooh, okay.
He is Shigure in Fruits Basket.
Oh, in the new one or just in general?
The new one. He's
okay,
the new one.
Because I know the Japanese, like...
he was Koro in Haikyuu. And to give one last one that I think a lot of people would know the show.
Oh, he's Gray in Fairy Tail.
Yes, Gray in Fairy Tail.
And then he's Shinomiya. He's Kojiro Shinomiya in Food Wars as well. I just finished Fourth Blade the other day.
I have not watched Fourth Blade because pretty much for me, Food Wars starts going downhill after the second season. I don't really like the.
Fourth Blade isn't bad, but I was also
I don't like the central arc very much. Let's go with that. I'm not particularly fond.
Oh, he's also fucking. Oh my god.
What?
Nakamura's also fucking a Hawks in My Hero.
Son of a bitch.
I see what you did there, Laura and Rachel. I see what you did there, casting.
But here's the thing, this is such a departure from his Hawks performance for Zeno. This is very much in it. I think Steph and I were talking about this. This is very much proto Vanitas.
No, I texted this to her. I'm like, Dazai walked so that Vanitas could fucking run, and she hasn't quite had the chance to really go through Vanitas yet. I haven't gotten the chance
to watch more than episode 1 of Vanitas in the Japanese. Don't tell anybody.
But no, like,
I've read the first volume of the manga, so I do like the case study of Vanitas. I'm just. Things are very busy, and when you have a parent going through cancer again, your time kind of gets eaten up.
Right. So, like, in terms of Zeno as Dazai, yeah, that's the best. That's the most apt description, especially if you watch Vanitas.
Is the thing is that I think that even if this is kind of a proto Vanitas performance, this character is a departure from what Vanitas is, because Vanitas is very much a character who can actually back up his shit posting.
Yeah. Vanitas, like, okay, so Dazai is the lovable idiot.
He's a clown.
He's a clown. Bar none, he's a clown.
He's a sad clown that's hiding his sadness.
Yes. The tone of voice that Zeno uses is almost a dead ringer for what he uses for Dazai. Except Vanitas is a even bigger snarky sassy bitch who speaks French on occasion. That's the difference. But Zeno also gets to do a lot more with Dazai too, because the other comment I said to Megan is I 100% want to see Zeno do a straight fucking horror with like maybe him as like a serial killer or some shit, because the no longer human section.
Human shit was so good.
I was just like sitting there, I'm just like, oh fuck.
Zeno commanded everything.
Yes.
That if Dazai was on screen, Zeno commanded the performance.
100%.
He was by far, I think, the most energetic, and very much warm character in the show. He had a genuine kindness and bravado to Dazai's bullshit.
Yeah.
Is the nicest way to put it.
Yeah, he got to have Dazai as a character got to have the most vocal complexity and the most vocal shifts that he had to do.
He was by far the most expressive and dynamic character.
There it is. Thank you. Absolutely. And especially like because you go from the silly goofy Dazai to like the kind of solemn mellow Dazai to very very sad Dazai not winning the
to angry Dazai to having the horror Dazai to having
it's the most
the Dazai who has come to realize things, the Dazai who doesn't want to give up.
This is the most expressive character of the entire show. And
Dazai has the most expressive range that he has to go through at once. Because he has to take very lows and very highs and do them very interchangeably.
Yes.
And I think that Zeno really gets that across, and that's why Zeno as an actor has a huge following, why he keeps getting the roles he does.
Oh no,
He's very, very good at going through this range of emotion.
Yeah.
On the other hand, I have to compliment Richard Thomas Akutagawa.
Yes.
Akutagawa does not go through the same vocal ups and downs, but he has probably, I think, the actually most complex character to play in the show.
Yes.
Because he has to play two Akutagawas who are both genuinely their own people, but are also the same person.
Yeah. And it's a difficult thing to like manage even in a short span of time. Like realistically, this shit doesn't come up until like the last like 4 or 5 episodes of the whole show.
Is where it gets really meted in. There are hints of it though through the show. Right,
but what I'm saying is he gets to play with that more in that last section. And it's a very short span of time. And it's just it's done really well, honestly. Especially when you have the two Akutagawas in the same fucking room. In a few different points, like.
And of course and here's the thing though, it wasn't a thing where they couldn't have sounded different, is the thing.
Yeah.
Like, they can't have sounded different because essentially one Akutagawa is a hallucinatory comfort device made by the other.
Yes.
That has become corrupted in his grief.
So.
Over the death of himself.
Yes.
Because, again, Akutagawa very much suffered from insecurities. Akutagawa was afraid that he had inherited his own mother's mental illness. He was hallucinatory. This is a man who killed himself through pill overdose. The Akutagawas in this show, played by Richard Thomas, are very, very well done.
Yeah.
They are misconstrued people. And I think the thing that really Richard nails is very much a person who puts on a brave face because of the pedestal he is put on.
Yes, because he is seen as this end-all be-all.
Well, no, and even in the real world, again, the highest honor Japanese literary prize is the Akutagawa Prize.
No, yeah.
Every character in this series has their own interpretation of Akutagawa the man.
Yeah, like
it's like, no, Akutagawa is like this. No, Akutagawa is like this.
As the author, Akutagawa is seen as the end all be all.
But Akutagawa the person,
right, is very flawed.
Is a very, which is all human beings are.
Right.
And one of the things that this reminds me of is I believe it's a conversation between Zeno and Eddie about the interpretation of an author's work.
Yeah, okay, yep.
Is that everybody is going to come in with their own subjective view of the things. What one person may view favorably, the other person may not.
Right.
It is not that the work itself is not worthy of existence, nor is the author worthy of scorn or praise. Everybody's got opinions.
Because that's the same argument that can be applied to Shiga, and how Shiga interacts with Akutagawa at the same time. Because
yes.
we said this earlier. Shiga is very critical of Akutagawa's works and all that fun stuff, but he also is of the opinion that they shouldn't just not exist. So
he doesn't like them, but he knows that they have merit.
Yes.
And that's a thing that I think is a larger thing of the show, is the destruction of media because it has maybe destroyed its creator, or
that's seen not only with Akutagawa but with Hagiwara as well.
Yes.
So it's seen multiple points in the show. So I think it could be considered a theme.
It should, because somebody is going to get something out of it.
Right.
Which is why when they are cut in Hagiwara's dream, Atagawa is shown the dream of Robbie and Casey's character, and they are able to fix the dream where Casey's character, who is in a world devoid of books, kills themselves.
Yes.
Even though they had a friend, and that books brought them together. And the thing is that the tainted version of Akutagawa has to have this very cold demeanor, and he plays the long game until he gets his memories back. Right. And the second that he gets his memories back, the malice comes out.
Oh yeah, because the point is made very early on that the Akutagawa that are reincarnated into the library, aka I can't believe it's not Akutagawa, doesn't have really memories of his actual books. He knows who he is. He knows who a few basic details, but he doesn't know the in-depth shit.
Which is why he reads things. And I think, to me, one of the most powerful moments of Akutagawa, the tainted Akutagawa, is when he rips Dazai's no longer human.
Yes.
And you can tell the level of malice and anger.
Because at that point, we're actually starting to see the tainted Akutagawa. And we're starting to learn, oh shit, what is actually with him? You know what I mean?
And of course, because, you know, if you paid attention to the show, or you know anything about the real Osamu Dazai and the real Ryunosuke Akutagawa, Dazai very much looked up to him, and No Longer Human was written in honor of him, inspired by him.
Yes.
So for the Taint, whose job is he wants to destroy all of Ryunosuke Akutagawa's works to save him so that he would never become a writer, that is the greatest insult of all, that a character who wanders around as a naive fool and eventually kills himself due to his inability to connect with humanity, which is kind of what Akutagawa was.
Yeah.
In this show. He was a man that had a hard time connecting to the people around him because they kept putting him on a pedestal. And he began to loathe his work.
Yep. It's also a point in the show that they make clear that his writing style and what he wrote changed from his earlier stuff to things like Gears later on.
Which, that's why Tosin thinks that there's a taint involved.
Yes.
When it was a coping device. It's I think, to describe the actual Akutagawa, Richard's performance of him, it's melancholic.
Yes.
It is a melancholic man who feels alone in the world with the inability to connect out. And thus he creates himself to comfort himself.
Yeah.
Because him and Dazai, in more ways than one the show implies, are two sides of the same coin. They're both men who killed themselves because they could not see themselves interacting with humanity unless it was the way others wanted them to be.
Yeah.
That's what I like about Richard's performance so much, and about Zeno's, is that they both capture different levels of melancholy and coping.
Yeah.
Where for Akutagawa, it is self-destruction. It is self-destruction and tearing himself down. Where for Zeno's Dazai, it is to be more clownish and wear the makeup.
It's very interesting. Like, these two are the most complex for, I think, two different reasons. Dazai's is the most vocally complex character, but Akutagawa is the most complex character themselves. Because Richard's performance for the majority of it is very subtle, but that is exactly what this character needs. It doesn't need to be all grandiose and grandstanding, or an idiot like Dazai half the time. Like, it's more of a subtle, kind of, in a way, its own mentor kind of role, because Dazai refers to him as teacher a lot. But there is that underlayer of, like, self-loathing and malice behind it that you, like, slowly see unravel over the course of the show. And it's the subtle, very subtle shifts and subtle beats that I think Richard nails very well. So while Xeno's going through vocal hoops over here and doing the vocal Olympics, like, Richard gets to have more in-depth complexity with the character themselves. So both of them are fantastic performances, but for two very vastly different reasons. But they, at their core, you're right, at their core, they're two sides of the same coin. So, it's very interesting, and especially for Richard Thomas, who has never done an anime before in his life. Like, but no, both of these performances are, like, they carry the show. Like, they are the ones that carry the show through from start to finish, and both of them are just really, really fantastic. Admittedly, for me, it took me a minute to kind of adjust and get used to Richards as Akutagawa, but that was on my first watch, though. Like, the second watch, though, I'm like, okay, I know more of the subtleties are there now, and it just ended up being this wonderfully beautiful and complex performance, and well done to both of these gentlemen. So
yeah, definitely well done. So let's wrap this up. So overall thoughts on the show?
It's definitely only for. It's more catered for specific audiences, that's for sure. There are gonna be people who don't think it's worth their salt because of what it is, but it's also you and me who both enjoy Token Rambu and that kind of horseshit. So, but honestly, I think it's one of those. The show aside, because the show itself is just insane, random horseshit half the time. I think the dub itself is one of those underrated gems that just keeps sliding under the radar, and it's a damn shame because I really like it. Despite there being some performances for a few of the actors being fairly rough in the beginning, they really grow into it and they fully flesh them out by the end, and it's just so much fun, and it's just and like it does its job. Not in the way of me wanting to play the game, me in the way of wanting to read some books. Like, because because the authors that are involved in this are just genuinely fascinating human beings, and some of the stories that are adapted are just genuinely fascinating. So the dub, I think, is fantastic, not only just going through and having fun with the show itself, but also highlighting those works of those authors and bringing them in a brand new way, in a new light, and in a different medium to a new audience, because not a lot of people are gonna have heard of some of these stories outside of probably Rashomon and No Longer Human. So honestly, I think the dub is worth it. It's very solid, it's enjoyable, it's very fun, it has some fun performances in it, especially and with half of the cast being like lesser known or relatively new individuals in anime dubbing. Like, it's a fun labor of love, I would say. Similar to when Jade did Token Rambu Hanamaru, it's a fun little labor of love. But yeah, I think it's worth your time. So the caveat obvious is, so long as this is your kind of bullshit. Because it's not going to be for everybody.
Oh no, definitely. This is a show, like I said, made for Megan and only Megan. That's a lie. But that's definitely a lie. I'm not gonna hog bitch.
It's the best descriptor we got.
That's the best descriptor of, like, who in the fuck in the Dub Talk podcast was this show made for?
Megan.
Who is this dub made for?
Megan.
Which is why I love it. Like, in the words of the Rush Blue Jays, the worst Russian Navy thing.
All in all, it was a mishap of adventures, but they taught us, but they gave Chiya Nakahara a gun, so 9 out of 10 stars.
Shit. No anti-gravity powers, but gun, done.
Done. But they taught Snake to do shots, 9 out of 10 stars. Please watch that video. It's my favorite thing.
Oh shit.
We showed you that, right? Did we show you the Russian Navy video?
Oh yeah, the one where they're trying to get to Japan and they're being fucking stupid.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, I remember
They
that.
finally come across a Japanese warship, and they determine it to be Russian.
Hey, what up? We're gonna go check the Japanese now. Fires upon the Russians. It's a cute.
Anyway, I love this dub a lot. Is this dub one of the best of the year? Compared to some other shows, unfortunately not. Is this dub still pretty good and well worth the time to check out? Yeah! I think this was a really good first outing from Laura Stahl. I think she did a lot of fun casting with it. I thought the writing was a ton of fun.
Mm-hmm.
So overall, I thought this was a very well checkout. Like, do you just want to have some fun for a couple hours and just shut up your brain and honestly actually ponder a bunch of things that they actually might kind of be right about? Yeah.
No, I know this for you was just a fun bunch of BS that you just had so much fun with. I remember you telling me that we were texting each other.
Oh yeah, no, I was bitching about this for a year to get dubbed, so, like, I'm happy.
Worth it.
Hashtag worth it. No, and again, I want to give huge compliments to Laura and her team and all the cast.
Yeah.
Again, this was a lot of fun. Please make a second season of this show. I'm begging you. Please do it so that I can have Atsushi Nakajima in this, because he has a Jekyll and Hyde personality.
Ooh, okay.
I want to cosplay the Octogawa from this. Not the Octogawa, the Atsushi from this.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Yeah, because I still want to. I do still want to cosplay somebody from Bungo, but I want to do Higuchi.
Ooh, nice.
I want to do Higuchi.
Nice.
Who is Akutagawa's his little assistant girl.
Oh yeah.
I love her. I love that character so much. I fucking love the episode where she's stalking him around. Anyway. So, if you would like to check out Bungo and Alchemist, you can do so via Funimation.com, where the sub and dub is streaming, and you can also pick it up on Blu-ray from your local retailers or any other fine purveyors of anime DVDs. If you would like to support us on the regular, we are the Dub Talk Podcast. You can subscribe to us at YouTube, follow us on Twitter, listen to us on Podbean, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. You can follow us on Twitch, where we stream every day of the week, but Friday, unless something comes up.
Mm-hmm.
And again, if you would like to donate to us as a one-time thing, we do have a Ko-fi link below. But if you would like to support us on the regular, you can do so at Patreon, where our $5 tier is My Parents.
I like that that's always the first on the list now because it's alphabetical. My parents.
And everybody else, it's Megan's parents. To me, it's my parents.
It's listed as Megan's mom and dad.
Mom and dad. That's what they made me. That's what they made me put. That's what my mother made me put last year.
I think I remember you telling me your mom originally wanted to do the $10 tier, but your dad told her no.
He's like, no.
I remember that.
I mean, in defense, it's the difference between $60 a year and $120 a year, and I don't think they wouldn't know what to suggest for us to do.
That's also true.
My mom would probably go through my shelf and pick something we've done already. She wanted me to do one of the Sailor Moon movies because I kept complaining about it, and we had already done it.
Aww.
Anyway, other $5 tiers besides my lovely parents is the lovely Michelle Pravis, the lovely Nico Robin but with yaoi hands, the lovely Sue Tweedy, and the lovely Victor Maborda. And our $10 tiers, the extra lovely Carly Lestical, the extra lovely Josh.
Crimson
Crimson Echidna, the extra lovely Crimson Echidna, the extra lovely Jacob Wilson, the extra lovely Jared Hawkins, the extra lovely Julia W., the extra lovely Marissa Lenti, and the extra lovely Otaku Anthony. Steph, very quickly, plug where you are.
My name is Stephanie. I'm also sometimes known as Lilac. You can follow me on Twitter at Lilac Anime Review, with review being spelled R-E-V-U-E. I do have a blog that has not been updated in a hot minute, lifeandtimesotaku.wordpress.com. And speaking of that Twitch, I'm part of the streaming insanity. I have been doing, at the time of this recording, on Sunday nights, me and Andrew are streaming the Somnium Files. And then on Sunday afternoons and Wednesday afternoons, I've been streaming Animal Crossing New Horizons. However, that schedule is probably going to change because as of the 3rd, I will actually be employed again.
Yay!
Fucking finally. I'm very excited about it. So
anyway, I'm Quinero2. You can follow me at Quinero2 on Twitter. I also stream every Wednesday. I have been streaming Fire Emblem Three Houses as of the time of this recording. Potentially, once we finish the Blue Lions route of that, I might be playing another game. I am debating on which one that I want to do. It is a toss-up between The Witcher 3 and potentially, I'm either thinking The Witcher 3 or I might play either Shantae or Zwei, the Ilvard Insurrections.
ooh, okay.
We're just gonna see what's on my Steam.
Nice.
Anyway, that is it for us. Thank you for listening to us. The library is closed. Go home. Go get your chicken nuggies.
But you never gave me my chicken nuggies.
Your chicken nuggies are in the mail.
That's not how this works. The library sells chicken nuggies. I want my chicken nuggies from the library. They're so delicious from the library. What the fuck?
Steph, I'm sorry we ran out of chicken nuggies. The budget's out.
Why didn't you tell me this before?
I needed you to do the episode.
Oh, you fucking bitch. This is why I get to be in charge next time. And we're doing fucking canon, alright? Because you lost at Pokemon.
Don't worry, we have a hot dog for you in the back room.
It's not as effective, but I guess it'll do.
So you don't want Andrew's hot dog?
I'm gonna leave now.
Good night, everybody. Otaku on, my friends.
Good night, everybody.